be earning. Yeah, dancing on my own. See if you can follow. Got me feeling alive. Watch me go. Lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time it's real, real, real. I do what I want. 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 I want. Hear me now. I do what I want. Are you ready now? 'Cause it won't be easy. Only get what you work for. Gotta go all out. Whenever you see me, don't be wasting my time. Watch me go. Lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. 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 Hear me now. Watch me go. Lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. I do what I want.
Good morning. What's new, pussycat?
Do-do-do! You will know it is time to turn the page when you hear that sound. That's my cue. Like, bitch, put your lipstick down, stop screwing around with your top, whatever you're doing. How is everybody? What's today? Wednesday. I'm going to stand back in a minute and show you guys this top. This came out of the vault. I only wear this. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. You know, I think I've only worn this one other time, and not on YouTube. Or have I worn it at all? You know what? I don't think I have worn it at all because I took it out of a bag. A dry cleaning bag, which I should not have it in. It's very stupid of me to do that. Because this top, which I am going to stand back and show you, because this fabulosity, this is vintage Emilio Pucci from, I do believe based on the label, when I was dating this top, I think my best guess, and I am not in any kind of even remotely an expert in vintage clothing, but there are certain brands like Pucci and, you know, others. I just happen to really love Pucci, that you can date at least somewhat based on the tag. And this is circa 1960s. I want to say this top is older than the bitch wearing it, if you can believe that. And, you know, the reason that I don't think I ever have worn this. I bought both of these from the same store 1 week apart. And that store happened to be Savannah, Georgia. So look at that. That's just a little serendipity that I would just quite by chance put on a top that came from a place where we're going to talk about. Oh, actually, no, we're not really going to talk about Quentin Simon. We're going to talk about more about Summer Wells. And you notice I didn't hashtag Summer Wells' name. No, along with a bunch of other dead, murdered people, because I don't need to do that to make a buck. I don't have to fucking grift off of the backs of dead people. But in true tragedy pimp fashion, well, of course, Betty hashtags probably every dead person she's ever talked about or missing. Every live stream. I wonder why that is. Well, I know why. I didn't even put Summer Wells' name in this title. But, my plan had been to take a break from this. And I based that on just a little clip I was sent yesterday of just more of her bullshit. And it's like, okay, bitch, clearly I need to take you by the hand and we need to go take a little walk to Reality-Ville. But back to my fabulous top. I'm pretty sure it was the other one that I bought. The other one I have worn once. This one, not so much. And barring one of the females in my family that perhaps would like this, along with some other vintage pieces that I have, when I go to the walk-in closet in the sky, I actually did reach out to the Costume Institute at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Anna Wintour Costume Institute. And they are a living archive of the world's greatest designers that we have ever had or have present. And they very much do take donations of, I just kind of described what I had. And, clearly they have a vetting process, but, based on what I told them, they said they would love to, see the pieces. There's a reason I've only worn this. I think now, honestly, I know I've tried it on multiple times and never worn it. You know how I know that? Well, because I'm missing all kinds of buttons on it. And the buttons are covered in silk that matches the top. This right here is quintessential. Like, you couldn't find a better, if somebody said to you, find me one piece of clothing that says Pucci from, this period of time. I don't think Pucci is any longer owned by the house of Emilio Pucci. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think they are. And I can assure you that the pieces of today are not like, some of that, much like Lily Pulitzer is no longer owned by Lily Pulitzer. It was bought by, I think it was a Liz Claiborne group many moons ago. They changed the labels, and guess what? Things got, there's a lot of polyester in Lily Pulitzer nowadays. There did not used to be. So, there's two reasons really why I've never worn this before. And that is because while it is silk, this silk is, look, you can see in the lapels that these are not we don't do lapels like this anymore. But they'll come back, don't worry. And here's just my little friendly piece of advice. Should you ever either in search of or stumble across a piece of vintage clothing that maybe you love the print, Fit is often difficult with vintage because people were a lot smaller back then. But be that as it may, let's just say you came across this top somewhere and you said, you don't particularly collect vintage, you just like it. But maybe you're like, well, I'm not a big fan of those very pointed, large lapels. Actually, these aren't lapels. This is a collar. These are lapels. Please, whatever you do, do not alter the design of the garment. It's best to do nothing to it. And I say that because vintage is highly collectible and some of it is very pricey. If one of the mods could do me a favor, if y'all have a moment, there is a YouTube channel called The Way We Wore. Doris Raymond owns The Way We Wore, which to me is one of the most brilliant store names for a vintage clothing store. And she is probably one of the foremost knowledgeable women on vintage, not just fashion, but textiles. And I'm talking from every period in the world. I'm talking dating back to like Napoleonic times. She has a very small store it's in LA, and I want to say it's down by Melrose somewhere. She used to have a TV show, some of you might have seen. She had, I think, 2 seasons on Smithsonian. Fabulous show. But now she's got a YouTube channel. And she sells things off her channel. She answers questions. So if you have any interest in vintage, Doris Raymond, The Way We Were. Also in California, they're also in LA. There is an auction house called Julian's. Julian's had Marilyn Monroe. No, wait, Sotheby's had that. Julian's had Olivia Newton-John's black leather pants, which incidentally, I know the person who won the bid for Olivia Newton-John's, the pants she wore in the closing scene of Grease when they were at the carnival. So this silk is very heavy. This is not like, this is, it's like a heavier silk charmeuse. And for those of you not familiar, silk charmeuse is what nightgowns are typically made of, or if it's silk and it's very soft and billowy and not see-through, that's chiffon, but shiny like this, that's charmeuse. So while this is like a charmeuse, but back in the day when things were just made much more substantial, but I wish I could show you guys. I kind of can't. Well, you can't really see, but even the hem on this, it's not a hand-done French seam, but everything was just made better back then. So because of the fact that it's heavy and it's hot as hell in Florida, that's one reason I've never worn it. And number 2 is it's delicate. And body oils, deodorants, I'm sure all of you know, if you wear deodorant and you wear anything white, whatever that may be, well, you get those like yellow staining from the chemicals in the deodorant. So all of the above is very hard on delicate old fabrics. Let's just call this, let's split the difference. This is circa 60s. Let's just call it 65. This top is almost 60 years old. So it is in remarkable condition. The idea is to never have to dry clean it because dry cleaning fluid also destroys clothes. So I'm going to jump out of this chair and I'm going to stand back just a little bit and then I'm going to turn around. Just please don't look at the space buns. Y'all, I have a hair appointment tomorrow and My God, it's none too soon because this hair is making me crazy. It looks like shit. I've got an inch of roots. Of course, it looks 100 times better than Betty's. So there is that. It just, keep it in perspective. When I say it looks like shit, I mean it looks like shit for me. And it just feels gross. Okay, so, and then we're just going to get right on into this. I'm going to say hello to everybody in the class. Yeah, Green. So, don't sweat. Don't don't wash your clothes. Oh, but when I was putting this on, you guys, well, I clearly have lost a button right about here, which is very problematic because this one is too tight. And I opted for the lesser of the two because you won't, when I'm sitting in the chair, you won't see. And both cuffs lost their little buttons, although I think I do have them in my closet in a little box I keep buttons in that come off, or spare buttons. So that's the front of it. And that's the back. And this Emilio Pucci is unmistakable. You know it when you see it. This is Pucci's. In fact, I do believe, yep, behind me on my table, the books that are down on the floor. The fourth one in is a Pucci coffee table book, and it's covered in a Pucci print. The cover of the book is fabric. Okay. That's it. That's all. I find lately we talk more about the crime and the criminals than we do the fashion and the pretty stuff, the fun stuff. So I thought, you know what? The temperature today in Florida is, well, last I saw, I was in my car at about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and it was 74 or 75. And right now it's probably about 78, but it's dry. The humidity's down. So play it again, Sam. What's that line from? Another thing I love, old movies. Like, give me a movie from my favorite period of time is 40s to very early 50s. So, does anybody know? Does anybody know what that's from? Play it again, Sam. And actually, if I remember correctly, that's not the exact line that was said in the movie, but that's the line that pop culture took and ran with. Any guesses, kids? Okay, Okie Crime News. Listen, yes, bee's knees, you are correct. Ding, 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 ding. What did I watch the other night, you guys? And it's one of my all-time favorite movies, old movies. Yeah, I love it so much I can't remember what it's called. I was watching so much shit. Okay. Well, I'm glad to be back. We have not seen each other since Zen. It's funny. It's a Wonderful Life is the one old movie I've never seen because I know it'll make me cry. And I try and stay away from. I've seen every movie Joan Crawford's ever made. I'm sure it will come as a shock when I tell you I love that bitch. Now, listen, I didn't say I'd want her to be my mom, but God dang, she had style. She really did. She was a style icon. I mean, hello, she pretty much she can't get sole credit for that shoulder pad. Oh my God. Listen, I have coffee table books all over in front of me, behind me, to the left of me. They're in my other room. I just love, and I really love old Hollywood stuff like that. We could definitely do. We could definitely do. Let me see if there's anything interesting in front of me. Mm, no, just big names. I was thinking, well, there's a vintage jewelry. I love that too. Okay, so we haven't met since Saturday. So what's been happening? Let me say hi. Oh my God, Mitten Mama, Mommy Dearest. Where's my copy? It's one of my. I swear I just had that book in my hand. I asked my mom too. I'm like, what the hell were you doing letting me read? Letting me read damn Mommy Dearest when I was. Is it down there? Oh, it's somewhere in this office. I just had it in my hand. Maybe it's underneath my credenza. Oh, shit. Sorry. All right, listen, I've got Betty queued up from yesterday, but I don't have it at the exact spot. So if anybody knows the exact spot when she, I don't want to listen to her. I don't want to listen to her where she pretends to be a nice human for like 4 minutes every morning with her, oh, hi, God bless you. Oh, God bless you. So weird. So weird. Am I the only one who thinks that's fucking weird? Like, how do you throw around God bless you bombs and then throw these around, within the same breath sometimes? It's just bizarre. Sorry. Just is. And I don't like talk to anybody about their religion. That's a very personal thing. But it's just kind of weird when you want to run around like telling people, oh, God bless you. Oh, God bless you. Because they send you a fucking super chat. But seemingly all the tenets of said religion, like, you seemingly really do not care about and seem to think that they're like, maybe, I mean, if I had to guess, I would say that Betty views the 10 commandments as, rather than 10 commandments, she probably would view them as 10 suggestions. I mean, and in reality, I guess anybody who's religious, I mean, none of us, I mean, we know the big ones that you absolutely are not negotiable. You can't kill anybody, kind of like that. But I don't think most of us look at them as suggestions. It's just, well, we're human and we're supposed to, you're supposed to strive for that. That's the ideal. But I don't run around like telling you guys, oh, God bless you. Oh, God bless you. God bless you so much for coming to my chat. God bless you for that super chat. And then, excuse me, that sounds like someone to me who is very jealous. Bitch, if I hear you say that one more time, who the fuck is jealous of you? That's absolutely nobody. What would they be jealous of? Your mad legal skills? Oh, yeah, those are on full display lately. God, I'm so jealous. I wish I'd gone to Betty's school. Yeah, I think I wasted my parents' money. Oh well. Okay, I'm gonna say hi really quickly, and then we're just gonna get this shit show started. And I'm gonna try not to drop any more F-bombs. I just truly, like, I can't stand a hypocrite and a liar. And I've never seen someone who wants to rewrite history like she does and thinks all the rest of us, or maybe is it for the benefit of the new grift, the new pile of grift coming in, possibly like culling from maybe the new ones who don't know about her. At least that I could give her a little bit of a pass on, because I could, at least that I could rationalize. But it's just mind blowing to me. So when I got this clip, I was like, Come again? And Kathy P, I was listening to you. I think I'm not sure if you were live or not. It was in the evening as I was, getting my little things I do at the end of the day. And I wasn't able to listen to all of it. I had gotten to the part where one of your littles was maybe trying to give the dog a drink out of the refrigerator. That made me laugh. But here's the thing. Call me whatever you want as long as it's true or it's an opinion. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. But people like her offend me. They've offended me my whole life. This is not like something new. They just, it's just so gross. It is so gross. And this fantasy she's got, like, I'm starting to well, Betty, and I'll use one of your words. I'm starting to think it might not just be hyperbole or hyperbolic. To wonder if, like, girl, you okay? Is everything like, I know you've been under a lot of stress lately. Of course, it's all self-induced, but I mean, it's just, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't know. And I'm also, it's like, has Summer Wells have enough of you scumbags not paid, I don't know, everything from probably mortgages, rent payment, car payments, grocery bills, cell phones, because oh my God, I'm sure cell phone for a lot of them probably comes before their house, because my God, no matter what would be catastrophic, like they can probably sleep in their cars, but what they can't do is take the chance that they wouldn't have internet access so that they can, gosh, it used to be you had to join the circus to do this kind of thing. Yeah, you had to become part of, oh my goodness. And interestingly enough, the Ringling Circus Museum is down in Betty's neck of the woods. Oh, Bets, you should go there. You of all people would, probably appreciate it. And it actually is gorgeous. Not only do you get to go in John and Mabel Ringling's beautiful, I think it's from the 20s. I've been there once. It's a gorgeous circa 1920-ish Mediterranean style 2-story. They call it a mansion by today's standards, and the homes that are down in that neck of the woods, because that's a very big money area. That is a very big money on the west coast of Florida. Not where Betty lives, but within 30 to 45 minutes of, or an hour, I guess. I don't know exactly where she lives. I know the city. That is some big money down there. But back in the day when John Ringling built that home, that was definitely a mansion. It's 2-story and it sits on, I think it's on one of the intercoastal waterways. It's not on the Gulf of Mexico, but it is open water view to one of the intercoastals, and it's gorgeous. And you can tour the home and you get to see all of it, upstairs, downstairs. And they were prolific art collectors. So you also get to see another building where a lot of the art is displayed. And the best part, at least for me, besides the house, they have the circus museum where you get to see like old circus cars, just really cool stuff. So but yeah, it's now you don't have to run away and join the circus. You just get yourself a little, jitterbug mobile and an internet connection, and woo, you are on your way to being a star, baby. Okay. I'm going to say hi to the kids in class. We're doing really good. Knock wood. I'm only 30 minutes in with my rambling stories. But hey, my God, I got to give you guys something besides just the gross shit, right? Don't you want all my funny little stories? This is an earring. I thought they're painted gold on the underside of the teardrops, and it keeps looking like they get flipped over pretty easily. Okay. Hi, Chronicles of the Oblivious. How are you? Wise Angel UK. Good morning. Crazy Nurse in the house. Oh, God, I almost forgot. Well, look at this. I got 2 names in and I'm sidetracked. You guys are going to like this. As I was getting my morning update this morning, now, I get morning updates from a few people, but let's just say that Crazy Nurse, well, she's like a stealth ninja, and you never know where she is because a lot of times she's in the bushes. And my God, let me just tell you, she's all over this damn place. You know how I like my old time Hollywood. So she's kind of like, Hedda Hopper from back in the day. Like Hedda Hopper had all the dish. She knew everybody. She knew what everybody was doing, who was sleeping with who. Oh, except we don't want to know that, please. That information, keep to yourself. So today, as I was getting, one of my several updates, and hell, I even gave her an update because, like all of us, I promise you, there's some people that I listen to that in the bushes that y'all would be like, come again. But you know how this place goes. You know how it goes when, somebody who's been a real shitbag asshole to you, and you finally get to see them get just a little bit of what they got coming. Well, I'm like everybody else. I'm not too proud to go sit in the bushes, and it's, sometimes it's a place I've never been before. And I might have judged some of these people just a bit too. Let's just say I might have underestimated their English language skills just a little bit. So I will, should I ever want to come out of the bushes? Well, my goodness. Some of these mofos need, there's some that I have out loud said, like Prayer Garden of America, and hell no, it's not that, bitches. Listen, there is nothing I would suffer through that skank's chat visible in. She's one of those they don't make captions yet that speaks PG, okay? So someone like PG, who I've openly said, ma'am, is English your first language? Because if it's not, I am going to give you a slight pass. But yes, I might have to. I'm not giving any endorsements because I don't. I probably. Well, we'll just have to see how things shake out, and that'll depend on how much more I start to learn about my new. They're not friends, but what else would I call them? New friends that don't know they don't know that the grammar police and Miss Manners is lurking in the bushes. So just beware, because you never know where you won't find me. So anyway, I said to her this morning, girl, I've just had one of my brilliant ideas. I have, they're self-proclaimed brilliant ideas, but, I don't typically toss brilliant around. And I've attempted to do this in the past with different people, but that's always been something that was orchestrated or planned. Like this Well, they say necessity is the mother of invention, and it is. So this just happened quite organically as I was in the kitchen reading and I said, you know what? I have a brilliant idea. Or I think I said I have one of my brilliant ideas. How about I said I'm always shocked to see just like where like she's got the deeds, okay? Sorry, girl. Well, you're in the bushes in a lot of these places, so just don't don't get caught looking through the window. Um, I said, and since we do this anyway every morning, what do you think if whenever we're both now listen, I'm not saying this is going to happen every morning, but whenever the two of us are able to do it, I said, how about if we'll do a private StreamYard with just, the two of us, and then that's like a pre-record, right? And then once we're done with it, we just release it and let it go live or premiere. Is that a premiere? I don't know. Or, I guess here and there we could do it live. But you know what's going to happen if we do it live? We're going to get way sidetracked. No, and we're not going to cam up because this will be first thing in the morning. And we'll just do what we always do. But we'll do it instead of via text, we'll be talking. And you will also. It'll be like the morning news update. Like when you used to watch regular news and you'd watch to see what areas to avoid accidents and whatnot. So she said, oh my God, I love that. Yes, we'll do it. So that's what we're going to do. So everybody be on your best behavior because you never know who's already been in your bushes. Oh, that might have been a poor choice of words. And I don't know who might find their way to the bushes. And yes, we'll just come. Now, listen, I'm not saying that we're going to have all the deets from all the places, but I think it's safe to say, well, put it this way. I always learn something new every morning. Rare is the morning when I say, oh, yeah, I already knew that. All right. So stand by for that. I'll get with her at some point this evening to see when we're going to do the first one, because tomorrow I've got a hair appointment in the morning. I got to be out of here kind of early. Hi, Striker Force. Hey, Cash. How are you? Oh, look, Cash. Now look at that. How apropos is that? And this is one of the first comments. Did you have a vision? Did you know that I was going to talk about people in the bushes? Hi, AMAC. How are you? Wine, Crime, and Mayhem. If you haven't checked out AMAC's channel, I highly recommend it. And if one of the mods could drop AMAC's link whenever y'all have a chance, I would appreciate that. And that goes for anybody that is in here that has a channel, as long as it's not Betty. I don't think Betty's here. Wine, Crime, and Mayhem. Is it wine time? Oh, well, you know what they say. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Hey, Helen Highwater. Be careful driving. Hi, that's Crazy Christy. How you doing? Oh, that's what we're going to talk about. Y'all are going to have to help me. I've got it queued up, but you're going to have to kind of help me to the timestamp because I'm not suffering through all of that idiot's morning commentary. Oh. And incidentally, speaking of Summer Wells, and of course, y'all wouldn't know that's what I was going to be talking about because unlike Betty, I don't hashtag that child's name every chance I get, whether I'm talking about her or not, which, I really wish YouTube would start start putting the kibosh on that shit so that, you know, unscrupulous people like her um won't continue to grift money off. I'm sorry, won't continue to put forth their very impressive CV of all their, you know, fantastic sleuthing and crime solving ability. Yeah, that. Mhm. Hey, Heather BBG, how you doing? Y'all, I'm not really reading the comments. I'm just trying to run, so we're doing good on time. Hi, Chris Cress. Hi, Kia, Queen Bella, Marcy. Okay, I know I said hi earlier, but hi again, Mike. It's too early for this. Okay. Um, remember, I don't carry a bullhorn. I carry a purse, and it's not a bowling bag. Hey, Rachel Wolf, Petal, how are you? Hi, Glory. Stitching, bitching, and true crime. How you doing? Hey, Deanna. SD owner. Hi. Oh, I'm glad you made a live. Okay, Mike, is that a sad face or a zipper? Mike, get all your emojis at the ready. You're gonna need them. Hey, Forgotten, how you doing? Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I hope everything goes good and smooth at your appointment. I know that I hear StreamYard's acting a little wonky, and it did kick me out already as the intro was playing. So, hey, BJ Marshall, we're just going to have to deal with whatever. Hi, Fit and Curvy. How are you? I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're well. London Girl. Thank you, girl. I appreciate that. Bama G in the house. Marie Duffy. Hi, Elaine. Zen. Powder Puff. Well, Powder Puff, you know, I have to put him in timeout occasionally. Just don't engage. Don't engage. Look at you, Mike. Hey, Miss Blue, how you doing? Mitten Mama, how are you? Hey, Tia. I think I do we have Tia and Kia? I think we do. Oh, TLC. Well, thank you so much. Does that mean I look old the other days? I know what you're saying, and I appreciate it. Hey, Cheesy Weezy. Yes, I am in the house. How are you? Are you just getting up? Let's see what time. Well, no, probably not. Grain, I know I said hi earlier, but hi again. I can't deviate. I've got to go straight down here. Some of you are going to get a hello squared, but that's okay. Hi, Kimberly Lowry. I think that's a new name. Welcome. Mike, I'm telling you right now, if you see any construction worker wearing a vest that looks like this, you are to immediately stop your car and pull that shit right off of them. And if you could please do it without damaging the fabric, I would appreciate it. Let me just make sure. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Okay. We are running. We do. We have Tia and Kia, I think. Vase of flowers. Good afternoon. Hi, Bee's Knees. Bee's Knees won the trivia question. East Coast Diane. Hi, how are you? Thank you. I appreciate that. I think that's a new name. Welcome. If not, welcome back. Hi, Becca. Hey, Quirky Carlotta. You called your mom Mommy Dearest after that. Hey, Baby Jane's a great movie too. Let me tell you something. Betty Davis, my God. Hey, Kathy P. I've seen almost every Betty Davis movie too. And interestingly enough, you know who's, I think, as far as films made, I think one of the most prolific actresses, old school Hollywood, is Miss Barbara Stanwyck. Damn, Barbara worked. Louis B. Mayer, he owned your ass. I forget. My husband told me one time how many movies the average star or even and starlets had to do more made while under contract in 1 year, and it's a lot. Hey, Tattooed Birdie. We have a lot of the makeup that we have today thanks to Mr. Max Factor. And I do believe Max Factor invented the modern day foundation. His was more, pancake foundation, but yep, he was a damn OG Jeffree Star. Hi, Language of Horses. How are you? But damn, I couldn't have said that better myself. You said it much better than I did. Hey, Skip to my Lou. Oh God, I'm afraid to ask what. Oh, hey, Candy Kitten. Oh, listen, Candy Kitten, I was not going to be defeated by those damn space buns. All I needed was 2 little alligator clips. Made it much easier. Oh, hey, vase of flowers. Oh, I'm sorry about that. You know, it's funny. Throughout my life, I can only think of 1 or 2 other Lisas that I ever met. For some reason, there's just not lots of Lisas. Oh my God, you guys, you know what I watched last night? And this is true crime related, which I've been watching a lot of series at night for those of you that maybe haven't heard how I have to manage my YouTube presence. I come in here whenever I can. I hang out with you guys and try and entertain you, make you laugh. If I can do it at the expense of some shit bag, woo! I love that. But because of the toxic nature of so many of these people we talk about, and the more you are just immersed in this all day and night, the more you, I'm very convinced that there's several factors that are probably present in some of the worst people that we talk about. And one of those things, in my opinion, is they lose all perspective seemingly with reality. And they forget that there's a whole big wide real world out there. And these 2 worlds, they bear little resemblance to one another. So for my own sanity, and because I have things that I have to get done, and I don't want to, y'all. I don't want to be on this place in listening to all this gross shit every conscious moment of my life. If you do, no shade. I just do not. So anybody that knows me at all knows you will rarely see me at night out on these streets. And if you do, there's a reason for it, and I'm there for whatever that reason is, and then I'm out. So I I don't even really want to watch anything even YouTube adjacent. So like I love Downton Abbey. I've been watching Boardwalk Empire again. The Gilded Age. Oh my God, obsessed. I've already watched season 1. I've seen it twice. I saw it the first time when it came out, and then I rewatched it. I started rewatching it on the plane flight home from Newport, Rhode Island, where several of the homes that I toured are actually used in the Gilded Age. And if you're watching the Gilded Age, Bertha Russell's Bertha Russell's kitchen, where you see the staff eat their meals. I have been in that kitchen. That is the real kitchen from the Elms, which for me, that was the favorite of all the homes I saw. Not the biggest, but very much done in like the French style. And then her bedroom, that beautiful pink, pastel pink bedroom, that set was created based on the Breakers and the Mrs. Vanderbilt's master bedroom. And I think they actually did shoot a couple scenes in the bedroom. But I just have to, I got to wash the YouTube out. Like it's so toxic. I need to just step away and and you'll notice it's I try to be on here 3 to 4 days a week max. That's just what I have to do to listen. It's very easy to get caught up in all this shit. And from where I'm sitting, a lot of the problem with people like Betty, and not just Betty, but people like her, they spend too much time and they really start getting these bizarre ideas that they are famous, that this is their job. I mean, just because I tell you that I have a unicorn in my backyard and that I ride it to my job as a supermodel, that doesn't make it so. But these people seem to think that because they tell you, I investigated the case. You need to go lay down on somebody's couch and tell them all your woes, because so I highly recommend, please. I heard, what was that number? My God, I want to say, and this, I'm either adding 100 million on or I'm leaving it off. I heard a figure today quoted by another creator that said, in much this kind of thing I'm saying, this creator was pointing out to someone whose channel is, slightly bigger than mine, that apparently has, drunk the crazy Kool-Aid that makes them think they're somebody, more than. And I also always see this common thread that most of them are real life losers who've accomplished fucking nothing. You two, be all you pretend to be. But I think the number I heard, it was either 162 million YouTube accounts or 62 million, one of the two. And I'm sorry, I don't remember, but does it really matter? So keep it in perspective. Moving on with the roll. We're doing good. I've got 6 minutes. Okay, now I never know how to say your name. And thank you. Anarch. That. Hi, how are you? Hey, Montana Jade, how you doing? Denise R, welcome. Hey, Stella Bella, girl, I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you've been good. All right, we're getting close. Hey, it's me, Amberly. How are you? Oh my God, Amberly, holy shit. That is one of my DIY nightmares. When we had our house painted, we had all the interior done in what I call the cat bathroom, because it's where I keep the cat's litter box. There's a walk-in shower in there and nobody uses that bathroom. I have another bathroom for guests. The wallpaper that was on there was, I never cared for it. It was too dark. But so when we were having the house done, I decided that I told my husband, "Oh, honey, I'm gonna take that wallpaper off in the cat bath, and I'll have him. We'll just paint it." And my husband's like, "Do you know what you are getting into?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I won't be. Oh, I've done it before. Blah blah blah." Holy shit. By the time it was done, I had ruined a commercial Jiffy steamer. I started with all the things that everybody does. Fabric softener. You score it with all the tools, most of which don't work. By the time, and I had a girlfriend with me that helped me do this. By the time it was done, like I said, midway through, I realized, I've got that commercial steamer, and I would take the steamer and lay it on the wall. It had all been scored, and that worked the best. But the wand of the steamer, it's got a flat head and it's got the holes for the steam to come out. Well, all that direct contact with the wall and the glue, it trashed the steamer. Thank God I got through it. But let me tell you something. Never again. That project took what I thought was going to take a couple days. Yeah, it ended up taking like 2 weeks. So enjoy that wallpaper removal. What's behind me? Yeah, that eventually I will change that, but my paper hanger he'll do all of it. I will never DIY any kind of wallpaper situation again, ever. Hi, Kara, how are you? It is the quintessential can of worms. Hey, Heartland honey, how are you? Hey, tribal gal. Well, thank you. Elsie, how are you? Tragedy Pimps Exposed. How you doing? I was listening to you the other day. I've been listening to a lot. Welcome. Okay, we're almost there. Hey, let's be honest. How you doing? Mother of 2 boys. KB, how are you? I've got our timestamp. It's already pulled up. Hey, Daisy Jones, how are you? Ooh, Thor Johnson. Welcome. Hi, Earth Angel. Truth hurts and karma's a bitch. I was thinking about you the other day. I was thinking about your screen name, actually. It might have been in relation to one of the aforementioned little stories I was just touching on. Hi, Tracy. Hey, Johnson, how are you? Oh, girl, let me tell you something. It took a long, it took a million bobby pins, before I finally figured out, screw the bobby pins, use these little things. Girl, I was having I was getting ready to have a rage, a hair rage. It would not do what it took a lot of trial and error, but you are the inspiration for these. Mike Stevens, it's so rare that you and I ever agree on anything, but on this we do agree, sir. And she's got that really, she had that very sexy, distinctive, throaty voice. Not quite Kathleen Turner, but she had a very distinct voice. But yes, Jones, and you were the, when you were doing your makeup on Halloween and I saw yours, I was like, oh God, I've always wanted to do those. Hi, Green Goblin, how you doing? Hey, Running Bear, not so dumb blonde in the house. How are you? Denise Olis, how are you? Hey, Bad Apple. Oh, I love that. Bad Apple. We got a few of those around here. Hey, Claire. You know what? The Breakers was the first one we went to. And what's funny is I had already been to, oh God, what's their home in Asheville? I can't believe I'm not remembering. But it's funny because these giant homes that are spectacular, and they called them cottages. But after seeing the one in Asheville, I was like, well, damn, it kind of is a cottage when compared to that. Yeah, and I do believe that the Breakers is the largest. That was a fantastic trip. If you like that kind of stuff, hey, Nonsense, how are you? Oh God, homework. Oh, listen, my husband had to help my son when he was in school. So I was like, well, damn, I didn't know how to do the old math very well. I damn sure don't know how to do this math. Hi, Brooke 33. How are you? Just Jake, how are you? It is vintage Emilio Pucci, circa 60s. The blouse is older than me. Oh, you found something, Amberly? Good. Hey, Jenny D, how are you? Okay, we're there. Yay! Beverly, how are you? Literally Davis fam. Okay, the Biltmore. Yes, thank you so much. That was going to make me crazy as well. All right, let's see. We're going to go to minute 56. I'm going to read the fair use. Okay, we'll start it. We'll start it right here at 55:14. We're going to unmute. Oh, God, wouldn't that be wonderful if we could mute Betty in real life? Okay. Oh, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Okay, let me just warm this coffee up here real quick. Oh, I'm going to try. I think that ship has sailed. Oh God, you guys, I am so sorry. Please give me 30 seconds to do this. I brought it in here. I brought just straight black coffee in here to try and keep mine warm, but I'm going to need this. So I promise I'll be back in 30 seconds. Okay. All right. Hi, Truth Seeker. Okay. Let her rip. Oh, let me present it before I leave this window. You guys know how I do that sometimes. Okay. David. Who is David Oh shit, I never finished telling you guys. Hold on. What it was that I was talking about that I watched last night. As I was, typically I'm watching the YouTube out of my brain, but as I was going through Hulu, and please tell me I'm not the only person who has the following: Hulu, Netflix, Discovery, or what's now called Max, Amazon. I actually have a note somewhere around here. I have got to cancel some, like Hulu. I haven't looked at that shit in ages. And it's such a waste of money. And they all go, like, they're all aggregated in my iPad because that's, I guess I pay for them with Apple Pay. Ugh, I have got to do that. So if you're doing the same thing that I am and you are pissing money away on multiple streaming platforms that you're not watching, yes, write yourself a note that you will promptly either lose or ignore, but write the note anyway. And don't be like me and you do it and then come over and sweat me about it. Say, bitch, did you cancel those subscriptions? Anyway, as I was scrolling through new TV, 2020 came up, and I do believe this was the last, I don't know if it was the last episode of the prior season or the first episode of this one, or who knows, it could have been a year ago for all I know, but I think it was fairly new. And it was called Found Baby Holly, or Baby Holly Found. I typically am not big on missing persons cases because, excuse me, and when I say that, hey, Queen Bee, when I say that, I don't mean that I'm obviously that I don't care about them being found. I do, of course. But it's one of those things where I hate to invest the time and the emotions in it because chances are there's not going to be a resolution. So those are not my go-tos. Some people really they love that because they post things from Nick Mac, and for whatever reason, for the reasons I just said, that typically missing cases are not what I go to. But for some reason, I decided to click on it, and my God, it was fascinating. And for the most part, there is a resolution, and it takes place over 40 years. And you will recognize the story about it was two people found dead in the woods in Houston. They could tell one was a man, one was a woman. They could tell they were very young. That's all I'm going to tell you in case you want to watch it. It's fascinating. So it's called Baby Holly Found Alive, or just Baby Holly. You'll find it. Okay, here we go. Oh, bets. Oh, look at that. Boy, that pause game is on point. Okay, what's Betty's shirt say? Something digit? Digit? Is this a digit? Betty, that color actually looks nice on you. So good for you. It's nice to see you wearing something that, it's a t-shirt, but it looks clean. And that I've seen her in much less flattering colors. So Betty, here's another piece of free advice from me to you. That color pink, you seem to be able to pull off. All right, let me full screen her. Okay, and you guys remember, I'm over in the other screen, so I'm not going to see the comments for a few. All right, Bets, come on, lay it on us. What do you got this morning? I'm sure you're pissed about something, so come on.
Thick skin, really?
Oh God, I got her screaming at me about thick skin. Okay, I need to back this up a little bit. I could have sworn that timestamp said 56. Okay, Kathy P, I do remember this right here that you were doing commentary on. This is what prompted me to want to come in here today and just, let's Betty, I know you don't like this, but we're gonna get back into reality and how it really happened. So let me back this up just a little bit. What are we at? We're at 55:16. Let's see if this.
That's how I feel. Treat others based on how they treat me only. Yeah, I know. I do that, right? And people are a little highly offended.
You are so full of shit. You treat everybody like garbage. And I mean, my guess would be, well, maybe I should refine that a little. As we're getting ready to see in a moment here, Betty assumes the worst of everyone always. I mean, listen, I give her enough free advice. I'm not giving her free psychological advice because I'm not qualified to, but I'd be happy to help her find someone who is.
Offended. Well, you came to me with that attitude. I'm going to give it right back to you.
Oh, we got to back this up a little because I know what this is, but yeah. Oh, wait until you hear. Okay, just based on this little bit. Yeah, you would think that someone said something filthy about, one of her family members. Oh, no, it's not nearly that. God, Betty, you truly are one of the most miserable people I have ever come across. Like, bitch, are you ever happy? Do you ever have like a consecutive, I was going to say day, but I think an hours might be more realistic. Like, I've never seen, I'm not going to say never, but it's been long enough that nobody comes to mind. That is just such a chronic malcontent and never has anything nice to say. And Betty, it's why your attempts at comedy, funny, smiling, they always fall flat and they're so cringy because your baseline seems to be pissed off always. At like, I don't think you feel right unless you're angry with someone about something and you think everybody's out to get you. And I'm going to tell you what I've told you before. Perhaps since you clearly care very much, I mean, it seems like it's all she does. Like, she can't let anything go. Perhaps maybe you should consider, I don't know, maybe changing the way you respond. You are so easy to wind up. I mean, it would be much more notable if you didn't have this huge overreaction like you do. I mean, truly, it just looks cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Should not be subjected to that.
To
and
what?
If people have a problem with my stance, I'm sorry. It's how I feel.
Oh, okay. Let me just tell you what, for anybody that doesn't know, hey, YouTube Duckery. Hey, Blake Slate, how are you? For anybody who doesn't know, I don't think we need to go back too far with this because, it is kind of a hot button issue and everybody has their thoughts on it. And here's the deal. Much like I said the other day, here's something that she just can't understand. And to me, it's why it's also why so many people cannot figure out, like someone like her, who's always, and not just her, but people who are so driven by emotion, and that like their emotion take the brain is rarely ahead of the mouth. And that's what happens when you don't have control over your emotions. She more than, God, I mean, I can't really think of too many more, not in this hood. She is absolutely a slave to her emotions. So we all have feelings on things. Every single one of us, either as a creator or as a sub, every single one of us has friends or people we really like, whether you call them friends or it's just someplace you frequent a lot. But let's say friends, because that tends to be more emotional than just, someplace you frequent. We all have people we call friend on here who they call someone friend. And let's just say we can't stand that other person. Well, you don't have to say everything that's on your mind. That's why the people who consistently have problems with everyone else, it's because they just do not understand that there are ways to feel however you feel, but you don't have to like put it all over on blast. It's also called being a grown-up. But what she is referring to here is a subject that I would not touch this with a 10-foot pole. And that is, I believe she's talking about the schools, and even if it isn't the schools, it's the same idea. And that is, well, you know what? Why should I try and interpret it? We're going to back it up just a little bit. But suffice it to say, and I don't want to get into it in the chat, it's not about this issue. It's about the fact that it can only be one of two things. She's either as dumb as wood, as I believe she is, and cannot see that speaking on this subject is going to be a problem. Okay, it's going to cause very heightened emotions, and that's fine if you're not her and you can find a way to be respectful to everyone's viewpoint and not belittle anyone. And there is an art to that, and people who are not that bright and people who are ruled by their emotions, well, that's the game they can't play. But I don't know if she needs content. I don't know what it is. But I can tell you, I consider myself someone who, and don't get it twisted. I'm not sitting up here trying to act like, oh, just send me over to the Middle East. I'll broker a peace deal between the Israelis and the Palestinians. Absolutely not. However, I wouldn't, number one, volunteer for the job because I'm not qualified for it. However, I have appeared on panels with people who invoke very strong emotions in others. And I've said all the time, I don't have sympathy hate. I am not going to, bash someone or hate someone that has never done anything to me personally. And I think if anyone who ever really has communicated with me on any kind of basis that is not just incredibly surface level, well, I mean, you must know that I'm a fully grown adult. And if you cannot respect that I'm not going to just hate someone because you hate them, then, but what I can do is make sure that anytime I'm in the presence of either one of those people, they also need to respect that's what she doesn't get. It's not that hard. Hey, so Flo, how are you? How was your trip? I hope it was good. You have to have respect all the way around. So I can be friends with two people who don't care for each other to varying degrees. And because those two people hopefully have respect for me, I don't need to tell them, listen, do me a favor and please don't talk shit about this one to me. I mean, unless it would have to be something very big, but just the petty bullshit that goes on here, no. Hey, be still. So for her to think that it's a good idea to get into something as hot button as this, it is just one of the dumbest things. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it's about, but she's either too dumb. She's definitely too dumb to negotiate it. There are things that are so sensitive that if you're going to talk about them, you need to be able to finesse your communication. Betty can't do that. If you look at her sideways, she thinks that she's your mother, your teacher. So let me see if I backed it up. And like I said, I don't want now where the hell is that tab? See, StreamYard is starting to act up. Because I see that it's still pulled up for you guys, but when I go back to present it again, do you guys see it on the screen? Nurse Bev, or Grain, one of y'all tell me, just say yes or no. Can you see Betty on the screen still? Because my tab disappeared. I see her on the screen, but my tab is gone to go back and play it. So, all right, let me do it like this. Okay, Denise, you can see her. Okay. So, Betty, you live for fucking highly offending people. It's all you got. Okay. Yeah, I think Betty probably would like to fancy herself some type of provocateur. Let me tell you something. A provocateur, well, that requires finesse. That requires intellect. And there is a way to do it, I promise you. That's why the best moderators, and I don't mean moderators here, but in the traditional sense of the word, like in a debate, the best moderators have to remain impartial and like they are applying the rules fairly to everyone. Well, if that doesn't mean that the moderator does not have an opinion. Of course they do. But their opinion belongs no place in that discussion. See, that's the part Betty doesn't get. All right. So to me, this is done for the simple fact that, listen, her channel is... Last screenshot I had, I've got double in this chat what she's got lately in hers. And she's supposedly got 23,000 more subs than me, give or take. All right. I'm gonna full screen this again. And that's so weird. I didn't touch the chat either, but the chat is gone. Oh, shit. Hold on a minute. Y'all, this is a hot mess. Oh, bitch, when do you ever not give it back? Okay, I need to start this share over. All right, there's the chat. Yeah, that is so weird. There's definitely something going on with StreamYard. So let's try it again. Now on my end on StreamYard, it shows 2 tabs open, but I only see one on the screen. All right, we got to go back a little further. Let's try going back to maybe 52.
They taught us how to type on a typewriter. They taught us how to fix things in shop.
I'm going to go back just a couple more minutes. We'll take it. You know what? We'll just take it. Let's take it back to 50 minutes. Well, 50 minutes and 54 seconds. Let me make sure it's presenting. Okay. And then I'll full screen it.
21 years old. So he obviously hadn't killed him yet. And we have to think that his son did some pretty stinking, crazy, wild stuff in his team, like we all have done. And if he didn't kill him through that, why would he be now ready to shoot and kill and unalive his son that's in college? There's something going on here. And I even brought up the mental aspect of it because, unfortunately, this is a common theme I'm seeing with our young children. They are being told that they have all these problems, that life isn't fair. Poor me, poor me, poor me. They have mentally destroyed a lot of our children in this world, in our country, right? In our country, they have destroyed a lot of people's ways of thinking because.
Does anybody know? And I'm not backing it up anymore. When she says they, do we know who she's speaking of? Is this part of her committee upstairs? The we and the us and or who is they? I guess it's not crucial, but hey, T. Marie, how are you? Hi, Missy Fletcher. I didn't take shop either, Nurse Bev. Hell no. But you know what's a funny story? When I was old enough to go to a bar legally, I was like, probably I was let's say I was 22, 23 years old, max. I ran into one of my old teachers at a really popular bar in town we all went to. It was weird. Hi, Bernadette. Okay, so I don't know who it is, but we're just going to keep it going.
As here for the last few generations of school, several years of schooling, right? Everything has been, it hasn't really been about education. Think about it. My mom and I were just having a conversation about.
What do you think it's been about that we send kids to school for? Now, that's not me endorsing the public school system. I think it's a disaster. Some districts are better than others. But let's not forget, Betty has no children, okay? Which means she can't have grandchildren, okay?
The kids in our education system this day and age. When I went to school, our schools taught us how to drive. They taught us how to cook.
Yes.
They taught us how to sew clothes.
Maybe.
They taught us how to type on a typewriter.
Yes.
They taught us how to fix things in shop. They taught us how.
If you took that elective.
How to woodwork.
That was part of shop.
They taught us about the law.
Excuse me? If she means civics, they didn't teach us about. They did teach us about our form of government, which I think is what she is referring to as taught us about the law. But everything she said so far is correct, and it is also my experience. And all of that was between middle school to high school.
They taught us about science.
Yeah, we call that science class.
There was no arguments over what anatomy gets to use what bathroom. We didn't have those arguments there. If you're a boy, you go.
No, because we didn't have those situations. And if we did, you know, this does raise an interesting point, which of course she's not gonna talk about this like I'm going to. It does raise an interesting point because my husband and I have had this discussion several times of late, and not just about this. Actually, when my husband and I have the conversation, yes, it is sometimes about social justice issues like this, but more often than not, it's about things within the criminal realm, like serial killers and these horrific things that people do. And oftentimes it'll be one of us looking at the other one and saying, you know, do you think it's that when we were young, like, have we always had these people walk amongst us? And when I say these people walk amongst us, I'm speaking about the criminals I was just talking about. But this also does apply to some of these social justice issues. And it very much is, for me, which came first, the chicken or the egg? So did we in fact have all these depraved serial killers all committing these horrific things that are just commonplace nowadays? We hear these. I mean, it's very hard if it's, you know, not double or triple digits in a mass situation, but just the daily depravity that makes the news. It is, for me, that is the question. Did we always have these people, or is this new because of all the change in, like, the non-existent family structure, traditional family structure, all of that? Or were these people always out there and amongst us and as prolific or close to as prolific as they are now, but we didn't have ways to disseminate information on these, you know, worldwide levels like we do now? So that's kind of what she, I think, is going to attempt to do here. But of course, in true Betty fashion, she's going to fail spectacularly.
Go into a boy's bathroom. If you're a girl, you go into a girl's bathroom. It's not about.
And like I said, I would not touch this issue for all the tea in China.
How you feel. It's about your biology as to what bathroom you go in. I'm not going to get into, you know, how people feel about who they are as a person. That's.
Hey, dumbass, that's exactly what you're doing by giving and she's entitled to her opinion. I'm just much smarter than her. I would never open up this can of worms because guess what? I'll tell you why. I don't have little kids in school. My opinion doesn't matter. All me putting my opinion out here on this subject, well, it's going to more than likely insult at least one group of people. And my opinion, I don't need to, y'all don't come to me for my opinion on this. So why would I?
For each individual person alone. I have, you know, to each their own. I have nothing to do with that. The bathroom thing with the kids, it is strictly biology. If you have a penis, you need to go in the boys' bathroom.
Betty, are you really this much of a simpleton that you think this really is just that simple? Betty, if it was just that simple, well, I don't think you'd be talking about it. Now would you?
If you have a vagina, you go into a girl's bathroom.
And it's like, really? I mean, isn't it kind of early to be throwing around vagina? Like, I don't want to hear the word vagina at any time of the day. I definitely don't want to hear it at Oh Dark 100 while I'm drinking hot coffee. But that's just me, and I don't listen to you. So
if you look like a female but have a penis, unfortunately, you believe.
Oh boy, here's where God almighty. I mean, if I thought she was smarter than I think she is, I would think that she did this purposely, but I do not. Therefore, I do not.
Belong in a male's bathroom, because young girls should not be subjected to that. And if people have a problem with my stance, I'm sorry. It's how I feel. It's my personality. It is.
Well, thank you, Captain Obvious, for nobody see, and here's where the straw man, when I say straw man, don't just think Betty's hair. This is where the straw man argument comes in. Because just let her keep talking for a minute. It'll become more clear.
It is my opinion. It is how I think and how I function. But I also have all of our children's health in mind.
You don't have any children.
Not just a few. So there's a big difference in my philosophy and how I.
Yeah, because you don't have any fucking kids. So you know not of what you speak. But, oh, please, carry on.
How I think about
Drop some more knowledge.
Do I feel bad?
And here's the thing. I don't begrudge her opinion. It's not about her opinion on this matter. And you notice that I'm not telling you what my opinion is. Because I don't need to. Because there is no benefit to me to touching this. So she's going to try and make this like, oh, well, she's not entitled to her opinion. But it's not about her opinion. It's about the fact that, you know, if you want to lecture people on what's good for children, well, you can certainly speak to things where children are concerned in general terms, but you don't have any children. So don't presume to lecture those of us that have children, have raised them to be adults who are contributing to society and who are productive and who, have never been arrested.
For the kids that are, you know, like boys trapped in girls' bodies and vice versa. Yes, I do. I feel very, very bad for that. And hopefully,
I don't believe that for one fucking second. But it doesn't matter. But I don't believe it.
You know, that person has to make those decisions for that person's self, because it's a very personal decision. And they have to
let me get this straight. That person who is a person who needs to make a personal decision for that person because it's a personal decision. Okay, gotcha.
A decision on how they're going to live their life. Okay, it's not for me to decide.
No, it's just for you to decide which bathroom they use. Is that what I'm understanding? See, she talks in big circles. So she's got a very hardline stance on the bathroom, and that's her right. But I don't care what hers is. It doesn't matter to me. But yet she's falling all over herself to tell you how, oh, that's that person and it's person and blah, 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 blah. You can't have it both ways.
How I'm going to be. I'm going to treat a person like a person, no matter what kind of gadgets they have.
What are you going to do? Tell them to fucking drop trowel so you can just figure out, like, what kind of person do I treat you like? Oh, well, if it's Betty, the bathroom, she'll know how to treat them because the bathroom they come out of will be indicative of the parts they possess. Okay.
Downstairs. I promise you that. You know, that's something they have to deal with for themselves. However, I have grandchildren, and
you don't have grandchildren. You don't have fucking children. You've got to have children to then have grandchildren. Unless, of course, you are married and your spouse has children and you call them your grandchildren. That I understand. Where my problem comes in is you are neither married never had children. Therefore, last I checked, you're divorced. And I wonder if you ever actually see those children or if they're just, some window dressing that you tote out when it suits your purposes to call them your grandchildren. Is that an Afghan behind her head? I just noticed that. Is that an Afghan? Wow. Well, I mean, it's a lovely Afghan, I guess. What? Maybe ask for what? Maybe get it. There you go. That's a perfect excuse to get rid of that plastic chair. Get yourself a chair that matches that lovely Afghan. Um, and are these grandchildren from the husband that she attempted to strangle? I'm just curious.
I don't want a girl with a penis in the bathroom with my grandchildren, my female grandchildren that have vaginas.
No, oh my God. Betty, you're such a nasty bitch. You have already made your stance on body parts very plain. I have already gathered from the conversation that in Betty's world, female, well, she's the one who wants to talk biology, so we understand. For Betty, a female has a vagina, okay? You don't, especially since they're your grandchildren, you don't need to keep telling us what parts they have. We get it.
Sorry. That's just how I feel. Maybe in adults, if that's what adults want to do, I think that's fair. Adults can share bathrooms. I have our children. That's where, if we want to go that realm for our adults, then we can have that conversation. But when it comes to our children,
Betty, I can promise you this. Chances are you have very much shared a bathroom with someone who very much appears to be female, but biologically is probably male.
I just think we need to protect them and shelter them from that type of stuff as long as possible.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't give a damn what's in your pants. I'm like, do we know what grade she's talking about? It doesn't matter. I don't want to turn this into that.
That's just how I feel. Treat others based on how they treat me only. Yeah, I know. I do that, right?
No, you don't. You absolutely do not do that. You've never done that. You treat others accordingly in your mind based on whether or not they agree with something you're saying and your thoughts on something. If they give you any pushback at all, no matter how respectful, well, I guess it depends on who knows what Betty's contributing factors might be. But we all know that you have a wildly disproportionate reaction, oftentimes to the most benign thing, as I think we're getting ready to see.
And people are a little highly offended. Well, you came to me with that attitude.
Oh my God, that's another one of Betty's tells. When her voice goes up 87 octaves, that's a tell. Don't ask me what it tells, but it's a tell. And another one of her tells is this: when she looks to the, sometimes it's straight up, sometimes it's to the left or the right, but you all know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm going to give it right back to you. And that's what people have a problem with.
You live for that shit. It seems to be the only thing that fills you up and gives you meaning in your life is to have conflict with people. And that is actually pathetic.
Saying, oh, we just need to prove she doesn't have thick skin.
You
really?
You don't. Your fucking skin is thinner than your brittle tissue paper hair. What, Betty, why do you think people say this about you? just because they've run out of things to criticize you for, you are known, if for nothing else, you are known for being the most classless, vile asshole to others, but are not a fan of being on the receiving end of even pushback. If you were ever subject to the behavior that you have given to people you don't even know, well, we see what we all already see a lot of obvious things in you that, I mean, who knows what causes them, but you know.
You need to prove I don't have thick skin. I brought this on myself because I have thick skin. I want you to go back and think about that and think how unstable and irrational that statement is.
Unstable and irrational because someone pointed out, I mean, I don't know what the exact comment was, but if I had to guess, it's something along the lines of, well, I just asked you that question to see if you really have thick skin like you say you do, and you failed. And watch here, she's gonna build this up into, I don't know what. It's just nuts. The lady doth protest too much. Shakespeare. Look it up.
And the person that made it.
Old Macbeth.
And the person that made it. That sounds like somebody that's highly jealous.
What the fuck would anybody be jealous of you for? What? What is it? Your big IQ score? Your beautiful hair? Your wildly successful pretend careers? Your very successful marriage? Your darling children? What? What are they? All your guest appearances as a social justice activist, a political rainmaker. What? Tell us. What is there? And I'm not even, I mean, I realize I'm being sarcastic here, but truly, what does she think anyone is jealous of her about? I think you confuse jealousy with intense dislike. They are not the same things, nor are they mutually exclusive. But I mean, if anybody would like to, well, Mike, you're Betty's super fan. Tell us what she thinks people are jealous of.
And has emotional issues.
Well, I mean, for me, I think you qualify as someone who could potentially have serious emotional issues if you pack your car up, drive hundreds of miles away to stand in front of someone's house while demanding that, based on nothing more than some stories in the media. That, you know, that is indicative to me of someone that could have serious emotional issues.
Right? You want to punish somebody because you want to prove to them that they don't have as thick a skin as they think they do?
Betty, nobody has to prove that. You prove that. You prove it every day, like you are now.
That sounds like some ghetto, childish ass bullshit.
Ghetto? I only see one person acting childish, and that would be you. You are like, just because you're not doing your usual like rage, foaming at the mouth. I mean, do you ever watch yourself? You should. You should go back and you should watch yourself and watch your body language, watch the way you speak to people. You are one of the angriest, most confrontational people I've ever run across.
If you ask me. So you know who you are that said that. As a matter of
you know who you are. Is this we? Let me guess. Is this might this be a conspiracy of some type?
fact, you met me personally.
Oh.
Shame on you. And you wonder why nobody pays attention to you. You wonder why you never got that.
That's one of her go-tos. Betty loves to try and dehumanize, debase people. Listen, bitch, the only reason people pay attention to you is because you demand it. And you demand it with really gross and vile behavior, which is the equivalent of waving a big old like red flag, carrying a flashing light, and I don't know, maybe a bullhorn. So you might want to slow your roll.
That child adopted because you're a piece of shit.
What the hell is she talking about? Getting a child adopted? Oh, hell no. Wait a minute. Please tell me she's not. Hey, blank screen. Hey, Lisa, how are you? Hi, Patty. I'm just looking at the new people that have come in the chat. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Brittany. Whoops, shit. Hey, Runaway Truth. Hey, Emmy, how are you? I mean, she's just losing her shit.
You're welcome, courtesy of the Bullhorn Betty channel.
Oh, isn't that funny? I swear to God, this bitch wants to wear my skin. What did you just see her do that I've never seen her do before? This happens all the time. You watch the next thing, she'll try and do this. Of course, she's only got 4 strands of hair on each side. Betty, don't be putting bobby pins in that hair. Hey, Beth. I've never seen, now y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Hey, Cashmere. I don't watch her except when I'm doing something like this, so I could be wrong. But in all the clips I've ever seen of Betty, what's something I do all the time? What's something I've never seen Betty do until right now? Oh, God, it always creeps me out. It does. It just creeps me out. Hold on. Yeah, you're right. And I think I know who it is. And let me tell you something, Betty. It's not everybody else, Betty. It's you. It's not all the other people that have the problem. It's you. Much like someone else on this platform that, they just make their way through friend groups. Well, probably about as much as, some of us who maybe don't have the greatest hygiene, change their undergarments. And when you are an adult person and you are constantly falling out with everyone, like every collaboration, friendship, relationship, you cannot make one last. Well, guess what? You are the problem. Truly. I'm actually considering, I've never grifted for money before, but I'm starting to think, my goodness, maybe we should take up a collection for Bets at Christmas time. Maybe we could give her like like a very large Talkspace gift card because she needs help. I mean, in my opinion. Maybe that's why nobody that I tell you what, that bullshit about, hey, Sofa King. Well, God, if it is, good God, she's a damn glutton for punishment. I just that, but I tell you what, it might actually explain some things because I just can't imagine. Hi, Rin. Yeah, she is the problem. And people and there's some others around here that they have a lot in common with her. Of course, they would be mortified by that statement, but nonetheless, it's true. And when you cannot look at every person she's ever called a friend or whatever the case may be, they've all gone on to bigger and better things and left her nasty ass behind in the dust because they know that all she will do is drag them down because I keep hearing this beeping noise. First, I thought it was the alarm pad. No, that's weird. Okay, carrying on. We're not even at the, oh, God dang it. We're not even at the good part, kids. We're almost there.
But I shouldn't get into the drama.
Look at her. Bitch, it's all you have is drama. And you don't even do that good. You're just mean as shit. You are like an angry fucking PMSing mongoose. That's what you are. You are the most chronically malcontent. God, I would be mortified if that was my reputation on here. I'd rather be known as a bitch. You're not just known as a bitch. I mean, when people come here, when people are kind enough to give me 1 minute of their time, my goal is to entertain them. I want to make people laugh. I would like to make them think, and I don't want to make them laugh in the way they laugh at you. They laugh at you because you're just like a boiling hot mess. I don't have an explanation for it, but no, God, I hope nobody ever thinks of me as, she's just never happy. She is never fucking happy. I think she makes attempts at times. Like when a smile is not a smile when you're gritting your teeth. Betty, you don't offer, like, what do you do that makes somebody's day slightly better? I think her goal is to do the exact opposite, like to make somebody's day worse and more difficult. Like, I don't get it. And I don't mean to just blanket insult people who listen to her, but I'm sorry. You got to be is she are you the leader of the simpletons? What are you? Besides, I just don't understand. What does she bring to the table?
Shouldn't get into the drama. I love it when people can talk all the smack, but when it comes hitting their door, and believe me, this will be back.
Bitch, I own you. Every day I turn this camera on and I come in here to show you as you really are, not the bullshit you want people to believe.
We'll be back on their front door before long, right? They're always taking this.
Here comes philosophy, Betty. Come, says the woman reading the same book for 2 decades. Not unless it's the Bible, Betty. don't tell people that.
Those early victory laps. Always
Well, in this case, it's a safe bet.
take those early victory laps.
Yeah, trust me. Oh, you
Just say
you can sit there with your kind of like the lotto, Betty. You got to play to win, right? I don't know. I don't play the lotto.
just saying.
Mhm.
So what do you guys think? Let me I'm gonna read comments. Now's the perfect time for you guys to start throwing some stuff into the chat. I will open the phone lines up if you
Of
if
course,
you like.
whatever you throw.
But
into the
what do you
chat,
think would
just make sure that none of the verboten words are on it, and make sure you don't try and challenge Betty in any way. You know, as long as you're going to genuflect. Betty, do you know what genuflecting is? You should, since you're a religious woman. Maybe, my goodness, can anybody tell me, do we have a genuflecting emoji? I bet we do. We probably call it something else, but
bring what do you personally think?
bow to the bullhorn. Bow down, bitches. Bow to the bullhorn.
Think happened in this situation. I know we've all had our own experiences in life with parents. You know, some of us had amazing upbringings.
I find it hard to believe that you had an amazing upbringing, but I'm not going to discount it completely out of hand. Although it seems highly unlikely that one would turn out such as yourself and have had, you know, an amazing upbringing. All that anger and inadequacy, well, it comes from somewhere. I mean, I don't know where, but
Amazing childhoods. Some of us did not. Some of us had, you know, it was really good when it was really good, but it was really bad when it was really bad. That's
so what you're saying here is life. All she does is state the obvious, and she does it like she's fucking Moses with the tablets giving the Sermon on the Mount. It's like she just states a bunch of obvious things, and then if you dare to not agree with her or to have your own opinion, well, then she's going to tell you why nobody cares about you and why nobody pays any attention to you. Just remember what I said about those two, about how many people are in this live. 210. Oh, and thank you all so much. I do appreciate it. Bets, what were your numbers like this morning? Oh, well, we can look at the live chat. Let's do that. Let's see how many. Oh, will it not tell us how many? Oh, I wonder, wouldn't it be fun? I bet I can find Mike Stevens saying something mean about me in real time. Or I mean in past time. How do we see, will it show me the number in the chat when I do this? Apparently not. It's not showing me anything.
that's really me. You know, I had an amazing childhood until I didn't. Right? So it's, you know, sometimes it's the
I'm sorry for whatever happened to you in your life that has made you such a deeply miserable, hateful person.
I can tell you, I didn't get killed. You know, we had some craziness going on, but I'm here.
About state,
you know, I feel bad for the ones that aren't, you know, that had to suffer. I'd like to know, does it, you know, we did have somebody reach out on a comment.
What do you mean they say school boards are not political? Ma'am, you do realize that is an elected position, correct? Which negates your argument. It is very much, they run, candidates run for president of the school board. My God.
Saying that they were just shocked that they knew this family.
I think I know what this person is trying to say, but it wasn't said very artfully. There we go.
that I actually think they, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember what it was, but it seemed almost appreciative because I took such a mild approach to this case. And when I take,
unlike your typical heavy-handed, let me get my crystal ball out of my purse. And who is it that appreciated your light touch? Do you see what I mean? Like, does she believe this shit? Does she actually think she has a job as an investigator?
these mild approaches, it's because I really don't know which way to go. When I say, like, we're about to start talking about Summer Wells, right? And when I went out there and I found out the information, you cannot change my mind. Okay, this is
wow. Yeah, that's what most highly ignorant people say. I do believe now, because Betty, I'm a decade older than you, girl. So I'm not, I'm not overly familiar with a lot of these new terms that we have now. But despite the fact that I may not use the terms, the concept has been around forever. I do believe that what we now call confirmation bias is what you just said. Yeah, because that's how ignorant you are. Because by God, Betty knows. And Betty knows based on bullshit from the internet and whatever her and Scooby and Shaggy and the gang got the mystery van and drove to Tennessee. Boots on the ground, hogs on the ground, whatever the fuck they were. Yeah, that's, wow. Like, folks, that says it all right there. I've never known a smart person who would say, you can't change my mind. I mean, it would be one thing if she was saying that after a trial where all the evidence is laid out and then you have all the facts and all the evidence you need to come to, Betty, in science, it's called a hypothesis, which is nothing more than an educated guess. You just make guesses based on who the fuck knows what.
This is where we have this one. You can change my mind all day long because I don't know what happened.
You don't know what happened in any of these cases, you moron. You just don't admit it.
Taking the information that law enforcement gave us, and I'm trying to make, figure out what's going on in this case. We know something happened, but Summer Wells is much different. Summer Wells is much different. I know many people here have been following the Summer Wells. Many of you guys are following me as a direct result of the work that I did on the Summer Wells case.
The work that you did? You're going to need to define work. Because in my world, work, well, unless you're self-employed, like work, I don't know, I'm old school. When I hear work, I think job, whether it's, well, we'll let her go on a little more there. Put a pin in that thought.
Summer Wells is another one of those cases,
cash cows, I believe.
That really struck.
I think cash cows is what your your Betty, congratulations. You are now the president of Tragedy Pimps Inc. Yes, because our former president, MGL, she had to step down. So congratulations. It's all you, girl.
Cord with me. We were not going to follow this case. We were not going to get involved. And when I say,
until you probably had one of your more mathematically inclined members ran the numbers and probably did a little bit of looking around as well. Velma, Shaggy, I'm Daphne. Okay. Just like I'm Farrah, always. You can be Velma. Actually, you're Scooby. Shaggy, more like it. Yeah, I would say one of your more mathematically inclined members probably figured out, ooh, well, after all, we've got our new company here and we're all board members. And so we've all just, this is our job. And, most people who have a job want to get paid. So I'd say that it wasn't by accident.
Say I'm talking about JLR.
Oh, you see that? Somebody has been listening. Too bad she never implements any of the other shit that we tell her that she should listen to. She knows everybody has drug her for filth over the invisible we that she always talks about. Although in this case, I think she is speaking literally about this situation.
Olivia and myself, because that's who we worked with at that time. We were all, we were all independent, but we worked together as a unit, and it was an amazing experience. We were able to take all of our strengths.
Well, then how come y'all aren't together anymore? I'm just wondering, since it was such an amazing experience and you guys accomplished so much.
Strengths and all of our weaknesses, and really go and do some good in this case, and that's exactly what we did.
No, you did nothing but harm. You didn't do, the only good you did was for your checkbook balance. That's the only good you did. You have made a mockery of this poor child. You have said some of the most foul things about your thoughts on this child. You got her family fired from their jobs.
Yeah.
You are trash.
Summer Wells disappeared on June 15th, 2021. It was in the afternoon after kind of this
there we go.
allegedly busy day. When you first heard about this story, you felt bad for the parents.
She's telling us how we felt. You notice this? This is her like,
literally maybe 24 or 48 hours. I felt bad for the parents. But then the behavior of the father, the behavior of the mother, when I started seeing them do the interviews and the words that they were saying, something was not adding up for me, because I have never heard parents talk about their missing child the way Don and Candace were talking about their missing child. And
I will agree. There were definitely things that raised red flags. With Candace, it is, I don't think it's any secret that most people feel like the interview where she and Don were sitting in front of the house on chairs being interviewed by the media, Candace very much seemed to be under the influence of something. Well, I'm not going to advocate that, but I will say, God forbid. I can't even imagine. You'd have to peel me off the floor. And Don, what to me was uncomfortable was all the religion. But, Betty, I guarantee you, Betty made her mind up at that moment. And just like she said, nothing's going to change my mind. Well, intelligent people, they don't come at situations in that manner.
I'm telling you that even to this day, I have never heard another father go up there, talk about with a straight face about how he believes his daughter is being just abused in the worst type of ways and not break down and cry. It was just appalling to me. Something was seriously wrong.
Well, anybody can feel however they want to feel about that, but you are just some bitch hole flunky with a YouTube channel who's grifted more money than who knows off the back of that missing child. You are not a professional in anything. So guess what? you're entitled to your opinion just like I am and everyone else is. But you want to sit in your, oh my God, like I get anxiety when I look behind her with all that shit behind her. But she's a professional. She's a professional at nothing except being an asshole. But she, you know, she says it with authority. It's you and people like you that are the problem with this case. You and all the other assholes just like you, although you are more over the top than the rest. There's not one of you that's done anything good for this case.
We never got involved in this case until about 6 months after it happened, and there are reasons. It's not that we weren't talking about it. I know people out there would love to just fill you with a bunch of lies about.
Oh no, you're the only one who tells the truth about anything, Betty. So lay it on us.
Why? You know, about how being a clique and a view and stuff like that. Let me tell you, back in those days.
God, listen, since you want to wear my skin and you clearly watch me, but you suck at it, much like you suck at all your fucking pretend jobs. You might want to go back and watch, like, your tells. I mean, I'm not a body language expert. I think you are, though. Isn't that on your CV? Well, I watch a lot of behavior panels, so you know, I know. It seems like every time you're gonna, I don't know, maybe say something that's not true, it's always preceded by a big old eye roll or a look up. And sometimes it's so obvious that it's jarring. I don't know. So since you like to clearly study me, maybe you should take a note.
We didn't make any money.
You are an absolute lying shitbag. Are you going to tell us you did all that for free? You didn't make any money. Okay.
Any money. We sold stuff to cover these cases. So all this clicks and views and all that nonsense is BS.
Oh, so let me get this straight. So you're the one person who's on YouTube with your jobs. These are your very important jobs, your careers. You do it for nothing. You do it because you don't want to grow your channel and you're not trying to make any money. So then why don't you turn your monetization off? Just get rid of it since you're not here for money or clicks and views. Oh, and you sell stuff. Yeah, you nasty. Oh God. This is the woman that we back the blue. Yeah, her little party, her 1 year anniversary of Summerwell's missing. Let's not forget about that. Where she is so reviled by so many people on here that her what did she call it? Well, she kept calling it a visual, but it's a vigil. Yeah, it was very poorly attended because people can't stand you. So people did their own events. But yes, and Betty's contribution to law enforcement to say, thank you so much for all your hard work and for dealing with assholes like me who made your job infinitely harder with all the bullshit calls and the interference and the this and the that. Yes, thank you so much, law enforcement. To show you how much we appreciate you, I'm going to bring you some used cake because nothing says appreciation like leftover used cake that wasn't eaten at your poorly attended event. Yeah. Do you really think that anybody in that building would eat so much as a crumb that came from you? I guarantee you that shit went in the garbage before your car turned over when you put the key in it.
It's BS. I don't even know if I was even monetized at the time. I may have very well been. I just don't remember.
Well, there's a lot of people who do know, so don't you worry. I don't know either because I couldn't care less. But don't you worry. There's plenty of people who do know.
Remember. Or I may have been shortly thereafter. I have no idea.
Yeah, you do.
Either way.
Oh, either way.
We went out there, and one of the reasons why we didn't get involved in the case is because we were told not to get involved with the case because it was too dangerous. That this
You should have stayed with that thought. And who told you that? Law enforcement? I wonder. And if you were told not to get involved by law enforcement, I don't care if they said because it's too dangerous, whatever the reason was, well, clearly you didn't heed the warning.
This was in the backwoods of Tennessee.
You know
People
better.
shoot first, ask questions later.
She is a moron. I have been there. I have been on Don and Candace's street. I have basically come face to face with Don Wells. I was going up Ben Hill Road, and he was all the way down the driveway getting ready to turn on Ben Hill Road. I was in a very noticeable vehicle. And I smiled and I waved, and he smiled back and waved to me. He had no idea who I was. I didn't make a nuisance of myself. I went to every location. And I was not worried for 1 minute that anyone was going to shoot me. And Betty, if anybody was going to, if this was the backwoods of Tennessee, now it is very isolated, but clearly you made it out alive. So
that they would not be too kind to the people, the kind of us, right? That we were just the worst people in the world. Well, you know what? They were all liars. The only worst person in the world was, I don't even want to say his name.
There's your journalist right there. The only worst person in the world. I don't even know what that means. Oh, and now she's going to drag Benny Keys. And if you think that you're like superior to Benny Keys in some way, he runs intellectual rings around you. And that's not an endorsement of Benny Keys. I don't agree with a lot of things he does, but who gives a shit? I don't need to. But I can tell you with certainty, he is 1,000 times smarter than she is.
Name? The crazed lunatic that thinks he can assault women? The one that's a felon?
Crazed lunatic that thinks he can assault
women. That keeps going back and forth to jail and still thinks he's somebody here on the street.
Oh, kind of like you. You've spent quite a few years of your adult life going back and forth and back and forth.
It's of YouTube.
Kind of like you.
You know, he was.
You're somebody on the streets of YouTube. Most of us just think you're a pathetic joke.
He was the only violent person there. He was the only one that we had to worry about. And he actually went from Texas to Tennessee in an effort to cause harm.
He was there before you landed your fat ass there.
Which is a very, very dangerous and illegal thing to do after publicly saying it, by the way. But you know what? I digress. He's learning because he's been charged. I didn't have to get him put in jail. He puts himself in jail. I just
get him put in jail, asshole.
Have to sit back and wait, right? Just wait for them to F up again, and they're going right back to jail. But meanwhile, the same people that are saying that we would be in jail keep going back to jail. I just find that awfully funny. Awfully funny. Either way. When we got there, one of the first things that we learned is how high that property is compared to all other properties in the immediate area and all the other properties in the immediate.
Look, I've been there. I don't know that Don and Candace's property is any higher than any other property in the area. And she would have no way of knowing that either, unless she was driving from behind Ben Hill. And I don't, maybe she did. I only know from where I think what she's should say is what I saw. Their property was one of the only ones you could see from up there. But that's because it appeared to me that not only was all of the foliage off the trees, Betty, that means leaves. It appeared that there were less, that the density of the trees was less on Don and Candace's property. Like across the street, which I guess at one time was Jody Sue, I can tell you this, I couldn't see a thing of Jody Sue's property. So
immediate area with little girls. Let's not forget that requirement. A little girl that's accessible, right? That's what we're looking for. That's what Don's saying. His child was kidnapped, that they scaled a freaking mountain to get to his daughter.
It's not a mountain. It is a very steep driveway. I can tell you that as I was at a standstill before Don was coming down, as I was on Ben Hill, I could clearly see off to the right, that incline was not as steep as the driveway, but there was a little Jeep. There were all kinds of toys that were just sun bleached. The little creek was there. It is not a mountain. It is a very steep drive. Now, my personal opinion, do I think it would have been easy if someone was lying in wait, which that's never been my thoughts. It's not about what I think about the case, but would it be impossible if someone was lying in wait? No. I mean, they would absolutely have had to know the area. Summer couldn't have weighed much of anything. I mean, they'd picked her right up, put her, done one of these under the arm. And I mean, that's not my thoughts on what happened, but it could be done.
Daughter, when the daughter around the corner was available in the front yard. It doesn't make
what the hell are you
sense.
talking about? The daughter around the corner?
Then you have idiots going out there, muddying up all the water.
Oh my God, do you hear her? What is wrong with you? Nobody muddied the water more than you and those idiots with you.
Every last one of them should be in jail, and that includes Cam and Allie.
Wow. Talk space, Betty. Betty seems to live firmly in the world of reality is whatever she says it is, not as it actually is.
Every last one of them should be in jail, including Cam and Allie. And I stand behind that 100.
Oh, of course you do.
100. I stand behind
Of course you do, because you're a jealous bitch and you've always hated them.
We went out there. We didn't give a rat's ass what anybody else said. We did our own thing.
Finally, the bitch tells me. Finally, I've been waiting all this time for her to say something that has the ring of truth. Ding, ding, ding.
Went and interviewed. We would just roll up on people.
You are everything that is wrong with this case. You interfered in this investigation from the minute you landed there. You are vile. You are a clown. You're a clown. You live in some fucking alternate reality where you, I cannot believe you've got one person convinced that you know any more than I know or Joe Blow knows. And you think because law enforcement humored your dumb ass for however many hours you fools sat in there with your flyers. Did you bring your flyers, asshole? I mean, my guess would be they'd never quite encountered something like you and the rest of the idiots with you. How disrespectful. I back the blue. Back the blue? Shit. Are you speaking of all your arrests?
We would just roll up on people and start getting out and recording people and start.
Honest to God, just start recording people. They don't give a shit if you consent to being recorded. You are trash. You are trash, and you're ill-mannered trash. I hope, Betty, I hope that I am here. I hope I'm still around the day that you finally get what you've been begging for all this time. Think about this. Whatever your profession is, can you imagine 4 clowns? Was there 4 of them? 4 clowns rolling up, demanding to meet with you. Now, I'm sure it was probably not when I shouldn't say demanding, requesting to speak with you. Taking up hours of your time that you should be using to look for this child. And you get these 4 people rolling up, none of whom are in law enforcement. If I had to guess, possibly 2 have anything more than a high school diploma. None of whom seem like Mensas. I mean, Molly's there for the personality, I guess. Was she the one they were going to shove in front of, when he needed a little finessing? Because at least Molly could do that. Molly could find a way to try and win someone over with a little bit of personality required. This bitch right here, oh my God. Betty has one speed, and it's asshole. And it's all she knows how to do. I just can't fathom. You get these bunch of clowns from YouTube who want to come and fuck your investigation up. I'm sorry, there is absolutely no benefit to law enforcement, to people like this fool right here. Going out, tramping through God knows what could be somewhere that they shouldn't, what if there was evidence that they, walked across? Who knows? I mean, chances are probably not. What's really concerning more than that is them interviewing witnesses or potential witnesses. And I'm telling you right now, it is only a matter of time before some vigilante flunky wannabe investigator, reporter, whatever this fool is calling herself that day. It's only a matter of time before some interaction that she has with a witness or a potential witness, a suspect, etc. It is only a matter of time before something she and her, whoever she's coattails she's riding, or they're trying to ride hers, who knows? Much like the babysitter in the Quentin Simon case. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but rumor has it that Molly Golightly allegedly paid that babysitter $500 for that interview. Do you not think that when that finally goes to trial, do you not think that if that defense attorney can find any way, any in with that, do you think they're not going to try and use it? Those are what this idiot would likely call technicalities, but it's not a technicality. They are interfering in these investigations, and because they don't know what they're doing and they don't know the law, this idiot can sit and scream at you all day long about, I know the law. Bitch. We've got about, I don't know, 500 pages that show very much to the contrary. What you know about the law, well, you know, I'm looking for something really small, like a lid. Well, it would fit in an eyedropper. So save it.
We didn't give them a time to think that, wait a minute, we don't want to talk to you. We didn't do that. We wanted to know what the hell was going on and how much information can we get as quickly as possible.
Who do you think
we learned very quickly that there was some unsavory relationship going on between Candace and Hunter. I know a lot of people want to deny it.
Isn't it interesting that someone who is suing someone over words that are, in my opinion, were true, she doesn't even bother to use. Here's what a legal scholar she is. She is right now accusing Candace of something that most people would not hesitate to say is immoral, but more importantly, more than likely illegal if it were true. And she doesn't even use the word allegedly. And I promise you that is not because she's got the goods. No, it's because she's stupid. And her brain is rarely ahead of her mouth. Because I don't give a shit if she thinks she's got, you know, a signed affidavit written in blood. No, nobody who knows about the law would make a statement like she's making right now. And no smart person would, because you just wouldn't even take the 0.5% chance. That's, I don't know, that could be defamation. I'd say she doesn't care because she knows that Candace does not have the wherewithal to serve her up some of what she's serving up to Queen Bee. Betty, you're a bag of shit.
And I love Hunter's mom. I know people have talked down about her. I know people have.
Why is that, Betty? You're so for the children. And let me get this straight. You believe it, well, it's fact, as you just said, that there was an inappropriate relationship between Candace and Hunter. But the next breath out of your mouth is how much you like his mother. Well, Betty, how do you square that? Because you're for the children. It's about protecting the children. And if that's true, his mother failed epically. And let's just say that, I mean, it probably didn't come out of the clear blue sky if it happened.
Put her through the ringers. You know, she doesn't have a lot of everything. You know, she's not a perfect mom. And she doesn't want to believe that Candace would hurt her son. I respect that. You know, some people just, they can't handle it. They can't handle the truth. Like, I can tell you that under my investigation, unfortunately, it's telling it.
Betty, who's never probably raised so much as a puppy, is going to sit and lecture us about motherhood.
An opposite story. So with that being said, you know, for the most part, they were as honest with us as possible. We were able to find a lot of information. We had all the people there. We were.
Oh, really? Did you find more than Chris McDonough, do you think? You know, the cop who's trained in interrogation techniques? Or did you fall back on your vast, catalog of being arrested to, figure out how to, use your interviewing skills to maximum potential?
We're able to question them all at one time and decipher
That's
which one.
always a good idea. Unlike you, I don't pretend to be Daphne from Shaggy and Scooby and the Gang. But even I know that I'm pretty sure if I was trying to get information out of people, one of whom is a child living in his mother's home, who, well, I mean, whether she did it or not, she still had the ability to ground him. So, my layperson opinion, I don't think that I would interview everybody in a big group. Gosh, Betty, did you miss that day? Now, Chris McDonough would have insisted on that because obviously he knows that he's a minor and the mother should be present. But that's not what you said.
And which statements didn't jive with the other statements.
Oh, and then what are you going to do?
We learned that the majority of the family, Hunter's family,
because you do realize, idiot, do you not, that kid could have confessed to you and you could have just run as fast as you could go to law enforcement. You do realize that your interview and his confession would be worth that because you don't have the power to Mirandize him.
That he and Candace had an unhealthy and unnatural relationship. I do believe that the story down at the water hole is funky. We know that the truck was there. They said, this is what was said. These are some of the discrepancies that we have. Might as well go ahead and throw these out there because people want to sit there and talk about this case and act like they know what they're talking about.
No, Betty knows what she's talking about. Nobody else knows what they're talking about. See? And this is her deep inadequacy speaking. She cannot stand to think, for some reason, despite the fact that, in my opinion, she's about half as smart as most of the other people in this hood. But she just can't stand to think that other people who have all the same facts and information, if not more, than her, well, she just can't stand to think that somebody might know more than she does when she knows nothing. She knows nothing more than me or you or the man in the moon.
Let me tell you what we found out.
Yeah.
We were told that Candace went to the water hole, right? They went to the water hole for a few, 20, 30 minutes to wait for Grandis's prescription to be filled, and then they decided to go on the rest of their day. That is a lie. There were 2 trips.
Well, even if I believed anything you're saying, which for the record I don't, but even if I did, well, my goodness, I'm sure law enforcement would very much appreciate you just throwing that right on out there. Way to go, Betty. Yeah, I know, because you care so much about, Summer and this case.
To that water hole that day. 2. I spoke.
Hey, dumbass. I've been there. I do believe that there are surveillance cameras, at least on the street on the way into Warriors Path. But I'm going to be going back in January. Yeah, no, not to play Columbo, Barbara Walters, Scooby and Shaggy. I'm not going to do any of that. It's not that far from where I'm going to be in Knoxville, and I'll probably just go. And something, I thought of this today because I would like to take something. I took something before when I was there, and I left it at the watering hole, the horse pond. You hear it called different things. and it truly is. It's gorgeous there, and I would love to see it in the summer. I've only seen it in the winter. But it is a state park, and as such, they don't want, Chinese lanterns, balloons. They don't want things left there in memory of summer that, become problematic for the environment. So I was actually, as I was driving today, I started thinking, like, what could I, rather than just taking a trinket and leaving it, and believe me, I'm sure much like last time when I was there, it was very obvious people had been there. They were not sun bleached. Um, they looked like they were relatively new, just little trinkets and things that people left there for her. Um, and I mean, it all just gets scooped up and eventually it goes in the garbage or whatever they do with it. So I thought, God, what could I bring that wouldn't be a problem like that? And then I actually thought of this, and maybe if somebody in the chat knows, I believe that is straight fresh water. I don't think it's brackish at all, because I don't know where it would. I don't think there's any bodies of water that have salt in them anywhere nearby that could make that water brackish. But I don't know. Brackish could maybe be based on other things. At any rate, I thought, what would be cool? What if I stopped at like a Walmart and got some fish? Some little, like, I don't want to get anything that couldn't live in that water, but I thought, well, God, that would be kind of cool. And just let them go. Just put them in the water there. And I mean, and I'll be wearing rubber boots because it's just when I go to Tennessee, that's what I wear. So I don't know. I thought that would be kind of a cute idea. So I don't know if any of you all know about anything like that, but I can figure that out. So yeah, if you can come up with any, and yeah, I mean, a plant, that's okay. So it is all fresh water. Yeah, like a clownfish or something like that. I'll do some. I just think that would be something cool because I'm definitely not going to plant anything. And most things get, collected and whatever they do with them. I think they. Oh, okay, Lisa, that's a good idea. Okay. Oh, that's true too. Okay, so clownfish won't work. Yeah, I didn't think they would. Hey, True Texlin, how you doing? Okay, all right, carrying on. We're going to go about another, well, as long as I can stand it. Listen, she is really pissing me off with this. I just find all of this so utterly appalling. The entitlement of this bitch. People who have the education and the experience and the knowledge and the know-how and who have standing street cred to behave like this don't behave like this. So to listen to this fucking flunky nobody loser, it's infuriating. And she cares more about exploiting this child and her name, clicks, views, more importantly, this. And you can say whatever you want, So why don't you tell us? If I'm so far off the mark, then why don't you tell us why you have standing hashtags with all kinds of murdered people that you're not even talking about? You're gross.
You know where the horse stables are?
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to the people there.
So what?
And I asked them about that day and if they physically saw Summer Wells that day, and they did. So I know that and this is years ago, guys. So when people were trying to allege that she was already dead before that date and they wanted to crucify me over that, I knew for a fact that that was a lie because I had multiple witnesses that had put Summer Wells in.
Oh, and of course, Betty vetted all of these multiple witnesses very carefully. Yeah, sure.
In that water hole that day. What we didn't know is, why did Candace leave and come back? Did she leave her daughter in the water when she left and came back? Up there at the horse stables, they said the car was there.
Do you know how dangerous this is, what she's doing? Because let's just partake in her fantasy here. And let's assume exactly what she's saying is true. Well, isn't that wonderful? I'm sure law enforcement would greatly appreciate the fact that she's just given all the players, oh, hey, by the way, guess what? We know you were there twice. And if she cared more about the integrity of the case, I promise you, she does not give a good goddamn if that child ever gets justice. All she cares about is grifting money and views for her shitty channel off that child's name.
The truck was there, the white truck was there, that they got in it, it left for a little while, and it came back.
I'm sure that law enforcement, if any of that is true, they'll greatly appreciate you giving, lots of advance notice to all the parties so they can go ahead. Because I guess they would figure, well, if this stupid bitch has figured it out, law enforcement must know, and they'll, tailor their story.
So there's one that people aren't talking about, that I know for a fact without 100% down. Why? Because I took my ass out there.
What the hell does that mean? I know for a fact without 100% down. And why? Because I took my ass out there. So what? I took my ass out there too. I don't know any more than the man in the moon. Of course, I'm not into looking like a complete fucking moron and walking up to people saying, hi, I'm a flunky YouTuber. I'd like to interview you about what you saw too. Oh, God.
There to find the answers that needed to be found.
Oh,
I didn't speculate about,
because law enforcement, they are not qualified or capable to find the answers that need to be found. The only person that can do that is this moron sitting in front of you.
I didn't make them up, and I didn't pull them out of my ass.
No, I don't believe you.
This is really what happened.
How do you know? Assuming it's even what someone told you happened. And so what? I can tell you that I was a Supreme Court justice. That's got about as much validity as anything falling out of your face right now. I mean, honestly, she's given you absolutely no information at all about who this mystery person is that told her this and what makes them. How would you? Okay, so let's just assume we're going to keep going with her little fantasy here. Well, if this moron thinks that she's got something law enforcement doesn't have, she knows that's bullshit. So here's what law enforcement has that she doesn't. Law enforcement has a way to vet any statements given by Joe Blow that was obviously too dumb to say, do you have a badge? Are you a reporter? Let me see your media credentials. But most importantly, when somebody that looks like her wants to start, ma'am, I'd like to ask you some questions about June 15th. Okay, so we'll indulge her and assume Sally Smith told her everything that she just said. Well, Betty, did it ever occur to you that you have no way of even knowing? Maybe it's a thirsty, attention-seeking fucking weirdo like I think you are. And maybe that's what makes them feel important. Like, oh, well, I was here that day, and people want to talk to me. People that aren't even cops want to talk to me. I'm important. Well, and much like you, that maybe that just jazzes them up. Maybe that's what gives them validation. Well, here's what law enforcement can do that you can't do. And what sets professionals apart from fools with a lack of good sense and because do you not think that when law enforcement took all their story down and all the details, well, what do you think is probably the first thing they did? I would say they checked with their supervisor to make sure they were indeed working that day. Where were they scheduled? What duties do they perform that day, so that we can be sure that yes, in fact, they were at work. And equally as important, that yeah, I do sit in this stable all day and I have a line of sight pretty much all day to the area in question. See, she doesn't have the ability to do that. All she can do is go on the person's word, if in fact she talked to someone. And I mean, come on. For all the reasons I just stated, people who otherwise maybe don't feel important, and hell, listen, we've all had an experience where somebody does want to talk to us about some situation that's happened, whether it's, maybe we saw an accident and it's law enforcement, anything like that. And it does, if you're a normal person like me, you are more than happy to talk with someone if there is something, and all the better if there's something that you can tell them that will bring resolution to something. And that, I mean, if you're a normal person, it just makes you feel good to know that I mean, I've had several situations like that in my life, witnesses to things. And it does feel good to, hopefully, because you were in the right place at the right time, or the wrong place at the wrong time, whatever, that you can just, that something you might have seen could help bring a resolution to something. That's if you're a normal person. If you're this asshole, you think that law enforcement needs your help. Not only do they not need your help, you do nothing but harm the integrity of these cases, because you are not authorized to Mirandize someone. You don't have any authority to vet what people are telling you. See, that's why somebody who's a dipshit like her she can convince other dipshit people that she's this big asset to all these cases. Boots on the ground. Bitch, if I was on the ground, it would be stilettos on the ground. So you go ahead and you keep preaching to the dummies. And I guess some of them believe you. But I'll go ahead and point out to all the other thinking people where all the obvious glaring issues are with all the shit that falls out of your face.
Summer was unattended.
She doesn't know that.
I don't know where Candace
Why
or
not?
Hunter went, but the whole thing about them all being around the truck, that was not true. They were there.
Oh, so this person you talked to, because remember, whoever this was that allegedly talked to her, well, at the time, that day, well, up until the moment this happened, nobody knew Summer Wells. Nobody knew Don and Candace Wells. They were not significant in any way whatsoever to anyone. So what she wants you to believe is that this person that she allegedly talked to, well, they had eyes on every moment. No breaks. This witness had eyes on for no apparent reason. Candace, and knows what happened every moment that she was there. It's ridiculous.
But I don't know where they were. The other thing that we were told that many people are now coming out and saying is the fact that Candace left her home twice that day. She left her home twice. She told everybody when she realized Summer was gone, which we all said, why would you get in the car and drive away from the place that she was last seen?
Are you stupid? Let me just tell you. And I happen to believe that Candace very much knows where her daughter is. However, since you've never had any kids, and as one who has, let me enlighten you. The very first thing you're going to do. Oh, and remember, Betty, you're Miss Law and Order. So you, of course, you're giving Candace the presumption of innocence, right? Oh, no, I forgot. That's right. Despite the fact that Betty is a constitutional scholar who loves the law, respect for the law, I bet the blue. Yeah. In Betty's world, as she has already told us, you are guilty until she says you're innocent. But let me just tell you what I would have done. I would have immediately, of course, you're going to freak out. You are going to run. You're going to run in your house. You're going to check every inch of your house. You're going to get your kids who are home and your mother, anybody that's anywhere in the vicinity, and you are going to be frantic. And you are going to send, go look there. I'll look here. You are going to look everywhere on your property immediately. The next logical thing you're going to do, you're going to get in your car and you're going to start driving, probably down that mountain. And when I say that, I don't mean Don and Candace's driveway. I'm talking about the mountain that they're on. And the reason you're going to do that is because you're going to be able to cover ground faster in your car than you are on foot. You're going to search all of the immediate on foot. And I do not find it at all unreasonable to think that she jumped in that car. And I mean, I don't know how far down she would have gone down Ben Hill, and I've seen it. So I know of what I speak.
It doesn't make sense.
It does make sense. And I just explained it.
Everything with this case.
See, this is the problem with her. She has no idea what she's talking about. She's not a mother. She's never had charge of small children. God, I hope not. Look at her eyes. Oh, God. You are a bag of shit. And I say that as someone who, like I said, I very much believe Candace knows where her daughter is. But to sit here and act like it's impossible. Why would you have gotten in your car? Well, you're not a mother, so you wouldn't get it.
Doesn't make sense. Why? Because the parents are.
It doesn't make sense that some loser from the internet who doesn't have a job takes all these little jobs on herself and thinks that despite the fact that she speaks and or writes English at best a 9th grade level, but calls herself a journalist, has told you for 2 years what a legal expert she is, and she's legally educated, who's going to get laughed out of court.
Guilty as hell. We're 2 years in this investigation and the parents have not been cleared.
They also haven't been arrested.
That is the first person that they are going to be clearing. If you watch any forensic files, if you watch any.
Oh my God. Did you just hear her? If you watch any forensic files. Wow. I think she might have finally just told the truth for the second time. There's all Betty's legal knowledge. She watches a lot of forensic files.
Any detective shows. If you have any brain cells, and yes, I mean that because I know the people that come here have brain cells.
No.
So I'm not talking to you.
No, they don't have enough.
But the people that don't have brain cells, and there's a plethora of them on here.
Hey, dumbass, it's plethora. It's not plethora, you fucking moron. Yeah, you better borrow some brain cells from your brilliant subs. Betty, I own you. Every time I turn this camera on, I own you. I own you on the internet. I own you in real life.
On YouTube.
A plethora.
This is where
Oh my God. There's nothing better. There is nothing better than an uneducated moron, in my opinion, screaming at you about how stupid you are while mispronouncing a common word. Plethora. What is a plethora? Do you mean plethora? Just, Betty, just add that to the plethora of words that you seemingly cannot pronounce and definitely cannot define. Betty's like a macaw. She's like a macaw that, well, you know, obviously the macaw has much better hair. She's like a macaw that she hears like much more intelligent people use words and then she just parrots said words back.
As a matter of fact, here's a message. From Bullhorn Betty.
Ooh.
Literally at the water.
Oh, look at that. Oh, big old look up. Oh, what you looking at up there, Bats?
Hole and at the horse stables. Here it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is taken right.
Here's something she's not telling you that I can tell you because I've been there. The stables are up. So when you come into Warrior's Path, it's funny, I have to do it sideways. So if we're coming through the front gate of Warrior's Path, I believe it's the very first right that you have a chance to make. You're going to take that right. If it's not the first one, it's very soon after. And there's signs that say horse stable. So you're going to take that right. And now we're on that road. And here we are. If this is our road, the stable sits up a little higher and it's off to the right. And the watering hole is down here. But there is parking this way. And I believe there was some up by the horse pond. All I'm getting at is she's not, you can definitely see the watering hole. I would think it would be much easier to see the stables because they're up higher. But she's making it sound like, you know, these two they are not as close together as she is making it sound.
There.
Andrea, aka Bullhorn Betty here.
Oh, look at that's when you
Look
were
what I found.
Bets.
It looks like a lot of people on YouTube. Right here.
Oh yes.
Right here.
Ha funny.
This is a real ass.
This is
right
one
here.
of her attempts at
Like
humor.
many people on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
All you need to do is show an asshole a little love. Right?
Even the ass doesn't have anything to do with
Tell him. What you need to do? What you need to do? Huh? What you need to do? Oh, too many assholes on YouTube.
Oh God, you
Say
are
it.
so correct.
Say it with me, baby. Say there's just too many people.
See that
Too many
view right
people
there? I
on YouTube.
think I have not. I think that is at the back of the stable because and you got to remember, I was there in the winter. So in the summer, it would be the line of sight would be, there would be more obstruction because there would be foliage on the trees.
That look like you, huh?
Oh God, Betty. Wonderful. You gave yourself
So
a
the next
great
time you want to
job.
be an
Keep
ass,
living.
maybe you should come out here and hang out with the
God.
ass.
Yeah, that's
Just
the
saying.
one. Yeah, the ass is wearing the
You wanna be
purple tank
jackass?
top with hula
There's your
hoops in her
brother.
ears as she's out in the woods.
Peace out.
Bitch, even
Bullhorn
I don't
Betty
wear
style.
the hula hoops when I go to the woods.
Just saying. I mean, it is relevant. That was Summer Wells' first year milestone of her disappearance.
Mm-hmm.
Out there at that very spot where Summer Wells
Yeah, and your point
was at.
Yeah,
Where a lot
it's where Summer Wells was.
of the information is derived from. Because we hear
I love it when Betty tries to act smart, where the information was derived from.
Hunter go on and saying about how he was down there. He's looking at Summer. When did he do that? He said he was at the truck. We determined he was not.
Who gives a shit what you determined? What you determined means nothing.
Another thing that we found out,
a lot.
and this is starting to come out again, called liars, had people telling me I'm the worst person in the world because I'm just a liar.
I don't know if you're the worst person in the world, but you're a shitbag.
All I know how to do is lie, right?
Well, I mean, clearly you know how to cook.
I'm the liar. No.
Yeah.
No. The people misrepresenting this case to you that had.
Like who? Law enforcement? What are you talking about? Because anyone else misrepresenting this case to you, we don't give a shit about because they're just another flunky YouTuber like you. I'm looking for information from law enforcement, not from some dumbass like you. And that Afghan, what the hell is that? Is that a scarf? I mean, I've never seen a blanket. Is that for a doll? A dog? What, like, I don't understand. What is that thing? I don't understand what it is.
You go to your wallet and go and pay Don and Candace money. Shame on them. And shame on you, for a matter of fact. I hope you guys are coming over to Bullhorn Betty style, or Bullhorn Betty side, because we're not going to ask you to support monsters on our channel.
Are you sure about that, Bets?
And we're going to use common sense.
We want all your money for flyers.
Hey, even if we don't know, it's a possibility this could be a monster.
Oh, Betty, yes, Betty and all her fine investigation techniques, like Layla Santinello, like one of her Brainiac subs called in. Oh yes, remember that, the live sighting. And I don't even take issue with that woman. I mean, I don't know a thing about her. My issue is not with her. I I mean, some people think that was all completely faked from go. I don't know. I don't see, because unlike Betty, I just because I think she's a bag of shit and I'd have no problem at all believing that about her. I don't have any of the facts, and I have no information on that beyond the little bit that just the basic outline. So I'm not about to sit here and say, I'll give Betty, how ironic is this? I'll give Betty the presumption of being innocent that she won't give to anyone. But despite the fact that I wouldn't spit on her if she was on fire, I will give her the benefit of that. And I'm not going to say that she set that up. But what I am going to say is this: whether it was 100% the real deal or it was scripted from prior to going live, whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. She is the one who, you know, being the fine investigator that she is, and back in the blue with all her vast scope of knowledge. Yeah, why wouldn't you just pick the phone up and tell the mother of that child that, oh my gosh, somebody thinks they spotted your daughter. Yeah, there's a reason. Oh yeah, the reason, yeah, like what it was. It wasn't their daughter. And law enforcement cares enough and has enough experience in these matters. And it, you know, it's their ethics. See, Betty doesn't have any ethics. If she does, I don't know where she keeps them. But she's not bound by a professional code of conduct. See, no law enforcement personnel or journalists for that matter would want to give the parents the false hope and take them on. I mean, I cannot even imagine a bigger emotional roller coaster than that. You've got a missing child. You think law enforcement gets a hot tip and immediately calls the family and says, hey, well, you know, I'm not sure about this, but, you know, we think she's been sighted. So can you hold, please? Can you get down there? Can you? Oh, you can't. Oh, it's 8 hours away. Oh, well, can you pull up Bullhorn Betty's YouTube channel? And yeah, Betty, there's a reason that, you know, most professions require training and education. So spare us. We don't need your lecture about your investigation. You're a clown.
We cannot financially support them. Let's sit back and wait until we learn a little more information. These other channels didn't do that. They were too busy pointing the finger and calling me a liar and lying directly to your
You are a liar. You lie about all kinds of shit.
Face for profit.
Oh yeah, you
your
don't
face
do
for
that,
profit.
do you?
And
you have pretend careers, self-appointed careers. And you want to talk about people who she won't name, by the way.
You know what it is?
What?
I told everybody, and you can go back to all of my videos from 2 years ago, by the way, 2 years ago, 2 years ago.
I don't want to watch you in the present day. I sure as shit don't want to watch you in the past.
While everybody else is changing their stance, like your crazy Cher and all those other stupid people out there.
Says the woman who cannot say plethora. And what was the other one? What was the other one that I used to drag her? Oh my God, no matter how many times I told her she could behoove, you are stupid.
Right? Now they're on the bandwagon of saying, oh, Don, but when you were asking your entire audience to fund.
Listen, Betty, I'm pretty sure that Cher was on the case before Betty was.
and his drugs and his abuse toward his own children, you're okay with that for money.
What?
But now you're dogging
What are
him
you talking about? You're okay
for money?
with money?
But I'm
Says the woman who has a bunch of pretend jobs that she has no education for and is not qualified to do.
the problem.
Yeah, you are the problem.
Don Wells, I told you guys 2 years ago, I confirmed, went to work that morning.
Who'd you confirm that with, Betty? And it's no secret, okay? Most people believe. I mean, I haven't listened to any Summer Wells content in a long time. You know why? Because of clowns like you, because of what the YouTubers have done to this poor child's case. That's why. Because you make a mockery of all of it. And don't you dare sit there on your sanctimonious fucking plastic throne and act like you're the moral authority. What do you want to say to me, Betty? Because I've never made a nickel off that child.
I also maintained this entire time that Don Wells left his work between 1:30 and 2 o'clock, and I cannot confirm that he came back to work. And I further stated,
It's a good thing law enforcement probably can, or I don't know, maybe they can't, but nobody has to talk to Bullhorn Betty. Don's employer? I'd say that's a different story. And even if he declined to talk to law enforcement in the beginning, well, I can promise you, they could get a subpoena and they could compel him to give information. Who are you going to call? See, this is what's comical. She has no authority. She doesn't even have authority over her hair. Clearly, look at it. But she wants you to think that she's got this. Betty's on the case. Law enforcement needs help, so Betty is here to save the day.
that with Hunter's statement of saying that Don called, finding out where Candace was and when she was going to be home, and the fact that he had his sons, when she pulled up and her sons were at home, i.e., that meant Don came home.
Somebody's been listening to Tim McDonough, i.e., you are so easy to read. God.
Nobody wanted to believe me. All a lie.
That's because people can't stand you and you're an amoral shitbag and you tell a lot of lies. I mean, that could be why.
But let Crazy Cher, the flip-flopper.
I've never listened to Cher, not a minute. I've heard some of the Don Wells tapes. The most I have ever watched Cher was when I spoke on Cam and Alley a few weeks ago. So, but I'm sure
the one that has just had her hand out has done shit for Summer Wells or this case.
What the hell have you done for Summer Wells besides enrich yourself off of her back? What have you done for Summer Wells? Huh? You put some flyers up, your wonderful flyers. You might want to slow your roll.
Except sit there with her hands out making money
Like
off
you?
the back of this little girl.
Like you?
With all of her BS, her nonsense, all of her lies, and everybody just forgets the 2 years of her peddling lies to her own audience for profit.
I don't think you need to worry about what she peddles to her audience. She'll worry about her audience. Why don't you worry about your ever dwindling audience?
Now she's the flip side, right? Now it's, oh, Don did it. Yeah, he did it when I was doing it. He did it when you criticized me for profit. He did it while you were calling me a liar for profit. And now all of a sudden you say it.
Somebody's mad. God, Betty, 2 years you've been carrying that around? Damn, Sheriff, if I were you, I'd be glad I live in Canada. Damn. She's a clown. Absolutely. Oh my God, you guys, it's almost 3.5 hours. And I am so, listen, I'm at my Betty threshold. I can't. I, she, Betty, you are everything that is wrong with this platform. You are everything that is wrong with social media in general. You and all of your, listen, I may not, I just talk. That's all I do. I don't try and insert myself into cases. I and I will never do that. And it's truly, I mean what I just said. She is everything that is wrong with social media in general. It has given all these loser, unaccomplished people the ability to reach large groups of people who clearly must not even be as intellectually capable as them. And they lie. Here's the word Betty loves: impunity. They lie with impunity. And I mean, to me, it's beyond lying. That's not lying. That is firmly residing in some kind of alternate universe. I mean, that's just what it looks like to me. And, you know, it would be like, ha ha, look at the, ugh. But these people, they do damage to these cases. You cannot, listen, there's nothing more serious than either the loss, a missing, or a dead child. And if, I mean, you ask yourself this question: God forbid it was someone in your family, your child. If you don't have children, hey, France. Hey, Mama Bear, how are you? Ask yourself that. Would you want that wretched bitch interfering in your family member's case? No, thank you. I don't want your flyers. Well, put your flyers up. Great. Thank you so much. That's the extent of it. Hi, Rain Dancer. How are you? I mean, honestly, I don't think there's, in everything I've said in the last 3 hours and 28 minutes, I don't know that there's anything that could drive it home more than that. Too bad I didn't think to ask this 3 hours and 28 minutes ago. How would you feel? No matter what you think about Don and Candace, it doesn't matter. I've already said what my thoughts are. But be that as it may, it doesn't matter what my thoughts are. I would never dream of trying to insert myself into that case and play detective reporter. Would you want that for your family member? Betty, you can nail every piece of paper. I'll keep you in flyers for the rest of your days if you would just, not go any further. It is so detrimental. I don't care what she tells you. It is dangerous what she's doing. And I'm way past the point where I could ever, I know too much now about her. I've seen her for too long to go along with any talk about a fantasy, to go along with the fantasy that Betty's just in this. She's just in this for the children because she loves the children. Betty's in this because this is the best gig she's ever had for any number of reasons. And there is nobody with scruples and IQ points who for 1 minute could think, listen, I'm 100 times smarter than she is. I don't think anybody but Betty would deny that. And I would never, not in 1 million years, would I ever presume that law enforcement needed my help. Because they don't. Because I have no clue. I'm not trained in anything they do. And the only thing I could do is cause harm to that investigation. And who gives a shit what Betty thinks about Don and Candace? It's not about Don and Candace. It's about that child. So you just, if you're somebody who thinks that, oh, she's just trying to do something good. Really? Well, how? Even if I believe everything she just said, which I do not, obviously, why would I? But if I did, well, she's just basically said things that, I don't know, I've never heard law enforcement say. So, I mean, I guess the best we can hope for is that people will wise up and they will stop supporting people who do the exact opposite of what they want you to believe they are doing. Because what they are doing is they are interfering and they are causing harm in any number of ways. And those innocent children and or adults who are possibly missing, but my God, most especially children, those kids need every advantage to bring them home. What they do not need is somebody like her. So, all right, kitty cats. I got a dog that wants to go out, and oh my God, it's almost 5 o'clock. Oh, I'm tired. It's been a long day. Okay, today is Wednesday. Oh, hair appointment tomorrow. Yes. So not tomorrow, and I have something to do Friday as well. I will not know until later on. If I do not have something Friday, we will meet again on Friday. Otherwise, it'll be over the weekend. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. And I will see you in the next couple days. Thank you, mods. You guys have a good night. Bye. Oh, bye in a minute. Oh, there it is. God. Okay, now for real. Bye.
Father, you should know I've been going solo. Want my love, baby, earn it. Yeah, dancing on my own. See if you can follow. Got me feeling alive. Watch me go. Lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time it's real, real, real. I do what I want. 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 I want. Hear me now. I do what I want. Are you ready now? 'Cause it won't be easy. Only get what you work for. Gotta go all out. Whenever you see me, don't be wasting my time. Watch me go. Lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real.
Good morning. What's new, Pussycat?